Good morning, everybody. Delightfully
Mm,
Geeky says, "Hurry it up, Mando. We're waiting. We're here. We're right here, ready to go. Somewhat on time. I don't know if anyone saw on Twitter, but my computer decided to do an update before this, minutes before. So that was exciting. But thank you all for joining. Definitely appreciate it. Very first episode of MGM Prime podcast right in my ear. So thank you for joining. I am here with the lovely Lady Gravemaster. Thank you for
Hello.
being on my show. First guest ever. So that's really exciting.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be the first guest ever. I don't know why I got such accolades, but I really appreciate that. Thank you so
You're one of
much.
my
Really
first
humbling.
followers on Twitter, supporter of the channel, and now you make awesome YouTube videos. Lady Gravemaster has a YouTube channel. She's also on Twitter. I've linked both in the description below. Highly recommend checking out her content. She's done one of the best takes that I've seen on Cuties so far, which is why I thought, what better person to have on here for Cuties to rip apart MrGirl's review.
Ugh.
So, yeah, everyone, if you're just joining, thank you so much. Yeah, spin spot right in my ear. Exactly. Hello, everybody. So, really quick, if you haven't seen this video that we're going to be talking about, it's intense. There's a lot of really disturbed things in it. In my video, I didn't put any clips or anything like that of Cuties because I didn't want to, I didn't want to have that in my video. Basically, their whole thing is, we're fighting against child exploitation. Therefore, we're showing you child exploitation. But in this, since we're doing a response, he does put clips in there. So I just wanted to throw that out for everybody. Again, an unironic trigger warning, because it's fucking gross. It's really disgusting. So just a heads up, people. That's in here. Lady, do you got anything you want to your pre-review thoughts on MrGirl's video?
I'm gonna let you all know right now. It took me a while to get through this guy's review because it's pretty heinous. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. There's a point. The first time I had to shut it off, I'll let you guys know when it gets to the point where it was the first time I had to shut it off because it was just that sickening. But buckle up because this is not good, not good by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, that's putting it very lightly. I like Febreze Christ, great name. Fighting fire with throwing gas onto the fire. That's exactly what it is. That's
Yep.
that's whoever, what, I can't remember the woman who directed this, but that's her idea of how to fight fire, throw gasoline on it.
Yeah.
If she were to make a movie. I mean, you've all seen the analogy of the animal abuse thing, where it's like you're going to make a movie about how bad animal abuse is by abusing animals. I think Babylon Bee did an article for that.
Yep.
Like
It's
dog killer or something.
yeah, Hollywood to show how evil it is to murder puppies by producing movie that murders puppies. I believe was the title from Babylon Bee.
Makes total sense. And you know what also makes sense? Fucking forgetting to link this on Twitter. Sorry, everybody. Give me 1 second just to throw that out there. My bad. But yeah, this is it's pretty bad. I watched a kill stream. He was on the kill stream, which I put a clip from that in my video. It's an hour and a half of him talking to Ralph and Andy Worski and a couple other guests about Cuties. And if in case you're thinking that he's joking, he's not joking. He defended his position multiple times, and he speaks very critically of the film in terms of a review. Like, he even admits himself in this video too that it would have been more effective as a documentary or even an animated film. And I think his reasoning is sound there, because he said, you take something animated, which is traditionally, a children's medium, and then you do something like Cuties in it. It's shocking, right? Because it's meant for kids usually. So I don't think that his arguments from that regard are that bad. But where he starts to lose everything is when he starts talking about how he finds these kids sexually attractive, and how if you watch it, you definitely find them attractive. It's like, what leaps in logic are you making for that?
Yep, and we can definitely crack into that more after people see this, but it's, it's that same paradox that we were talking about before Mando, that they're trying to set up, where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if you like this movie, then, you're open-minded and you're accepting, but you still have a problem somewhere. And if you don't like this movie, you secretly are Afredo, and you secretly like this, and you're secretly sexually attracted to these girls. So the more you deny it, the more you actually love it. And after we watch this, we can get into the reductio ad absurdum that you have to use to get out of that little paradox that they try to trap you in. But it's the only, like I told, like we've talked about before, it's the only strategy I have found that actually works against these people.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into it because I mean that's definitely an argument that they like to try to make. Latvian says, "Just get to the video already." This is, I'm from, like, originally where everyone met me is from Anomaly Stream. You should know that it takes at least an hour to get into the video. Absolutely. I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. So yeah, No Leaf says, "Are we going to bash Vito in the podcast? Because I'm all for it." Probably a little bit, because he defended this guy. That's how I found out about him. If Vito wasn't retweeting him, I wouldn't have seen him fighting with My Nerdy Home on Twitter about this. So I kind of have to thank Vito for showing me that, the scum of the earth, really, they walk among us.
Yep.
Wise Wolf, how you doing? Sorry, what was that, Lady Gravemaster?
Hi, everybody. No, I was just going to say that they, all these wolves in sheep's clothing, but they're sort of just kicking off their sheep's clothing now. They don't care.
Nope. No shame. No shame. But I mean, that gives us some stuff to look at. So that's what we're going to do right now. Prepare yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because it's something. I mean, just look at this face. This is what we're in for the next 24 or so minutes of his video. Bradley, I'm doing well. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well too. 50-minute intro. No, not 50-minute intro. We're getting into it right now. So prepare. Here is MrGirl's review of Cuties.
Hi, Cuties. Guess what I just watched? So if you're not familiar, Cuties is a film that Netflix just bought from director Maimouna Doucouré. She's a French woman. And she made this film that has sparked some controversy. Maybe not so much the film itself, but a poster that Netflix made to promote it. As you can see, it's a bunch of 11-year-old girls dancing provocatively. Now, people said that this was Netflix sexualizing children. Other people have said that the film itself is sexualizing children. That's basically akin to child pornography. And that it's, the pedophile left normalizing pedophilia as a legitimate sexual orientation. Hollywood did Pizzagate. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. And then other people are more just kind of more, I think, in my opinion, sanely saying it's exploitative.
Already framing that people who don't like child porn are freaking out over no reason.
Mm-hmm.
That is the basis for his argument. Also, hi, Cuties. Yeah, what a way to start the video. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But yeah, you already see where he's going with that argument. And to say that people who find this exploitative, or to find this to be softcore child pornography, are outrage mongers, is incredibly disingenuous, and I think very dismissive of very real complaints about this film.
Absolutely. The nope. He's just a bad guy. He's just a bad person, and I don't know that I can go as far as to say evil, but he's definitely borderline. But he is a bad person. And the fact that he's going to sit there and be like, oh, if you have a problem with CP, you're really the one with the actual problem who really likes it. And it's just disgusting.
Yeah, it gets worse. This is the beginning. It gets way worse. Just everybody. Delightfully Geeky says, I can't even bring myself to watch the movie after everything I've heard. I can't believe they made something like this. Yeah. And here's
Mm-hmm.
the thing, the sexualization of children has been going on for years.
Absolutely.
This is the first thing, or I mean the first big thing that's made a lot of people wake up. And one, they woke up and they outed themselves as pedophiles or pedophile sympathizers, or two, they realized that they are in fact one of the only few sane human beings left on the planet and will speak out against this.
Absolutely. And, people have been coming at me in some of my Twitter threads, and they're like, oh, this is now it's a problem. Like, this isn't, it's trying to highlight the child pageants and the dance competitions that are really the problem, but you want to take issue with the film. One guy was like, it's a finger pointing at the moon, and all you can focus on is the finger. And my response to that was, have you ever noticed that sometimes the people pointing the finger are the most guilty? I said, it's not about just the moon or just the finger. It's about the whole dang picture. And I have been adamantly against all of this. Not like, there's no reason that 3, 2, 18-month-old, 1-year-olds need to have a swimsuit competition. There's no reason 7-year-olds need to have a swimsuit competition. Why? For what purpose? What, like, it makes zero sense to me. Ever since that show, freaking Tiara Toddlers or whatever it is, the I was in, I think I was like 17, and I was like, this is so wrong for so many reasons. So people are going to be like, no, this is empowering and young girls and minors, and let's let them embrace their sexuality. But they're going to freak out when the Miss America pageant, where all of the women are of age, are adults, they're not allowed to have swimsuit competitions anymore because it's too sexualizing and it's the male gaze. And Harley Quinn has to not be in Daisy Dukes and a cutoff t-shirt because it services the male gaze. So when mature adult women do this, it's a problem. But when minors are doing all of this disgusting stuff, like I can't even bring myself to say some of the stuff that they're doing, no, it's empowering. It's great. Let's do more of this. What is wrong with these people? Like, what broke in their brain or their soul that this is acceptable to them?
Yeah, they want to infantilize grown women who can make their own decisions because they know better. But for the children who don't know better, it's because they can take advantage of the kids more easily than they can adult women. They can control children, right? But they can't
Yep.
really control an adult who knows what's going on and can see through their shit. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a sad reality, unfortunately. I just wanted to highlight somebody, Latvian Dragon asked, why is his name MrGirl? And I have an answer for that, but China's AIDS also has an answer. It's Mr. Steal Your Girl because he's probably stealing little girls. Yeah,
Oh,
very accurate. So he explains on the kill stream, MrGirl explains on the kill stream that his name is that because he thought it's his Xbox Live gamer tag, which I'm not doxing him. He says it's his gamer tag and he asked you to go add him as a friend on Xbox. But he said that he just thought it was funny that he would get killed by a guy named MrGirl. So that's the reasoning behind that. Delightfully Geeky says toddlers and tiaras. Yep, public started the public acceptance. Yeah,
okay.
I
Yeah.
don't have
No, I agree.
I don't care for those kind of shows either. I think anything to do with like children, like it's too much. Like
Mm-hmm.
why are we doing this? So it's not just
Absolutely.
cuties, and I've seen that argument float around that it's all, why is everyone so upset about this? What about? Which I mean, that's whataboutism, which is a
Yep.
bullshit way to argue, but they have a point there, and I'm not making the argument that it's okay because I don't want any of it.
Nope, I don't either.
Okay, let's see what else this guy has to say.
It's exploiting children. Even if you're making a movie that's about the exploitation of children, you could do it in a way that does not exploit children when you made it. So that's just a little background. That's why I ended up watching this movie. Now, it's a solid film. It's a good movie. Definitely better than most movies. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the movie itself. But right off the bat, just first impressions regarding the controversy. This film does try to make you sexually aroused by 11-year-olds.
And this is where I had to shut it off the first time. Ooh.
That's fucking terrible.
I'll say it's not bad at it. It's not a total failure in that regard, at least for me.
Like, what the fuck?
Ugh.
It's not bad at it, he says. Who sees that and says, yeah, that's okay. I'm good with this. I'm going to openly, publicly admit that I'm completely for this.
Someone with a sick, twisted soul admits that. Like, I just, this makes me so angry for so many reasons. Just, oh my God. Because as upset as I am with him, the clips that I've seen of this movie, someone had to teach these girls these things. And they had to because movies don't work like this. You don't get it on the first take. Like, it doesn't happen. Very seldom does it, which means they had to do these things repeatedly.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I mean, how many girls did they say that they saw for the casting? Like 650?
Yeah, just for the main role. Like, they saw over 1,000 girls for all 4.
That's fucking insane. That is absolutely insane. And there was this, I forget who posted. I know Anna was retweeting some stuff, but I guess the cast, it's the writer or the direct, maybe both. They're under investigation now because of clips. The guy's name is Zangro. I made a joke in my video. I called it his porn name because he's got a really long name, but Zangro, I guess. And he's getting investigated because they were having the girls send in videos of them twerking to him.
Yep.
And it's like, how do people get away with, like, I know it's France, right? How do people get away with it? Sorry to anyone who's French who might be watching this, but get your shit together, France. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm at a loss for words. I've talked about it for over 30 minutes, and then I wrote a fucking script twice, redrafted it, and it's almost to a point. And here's the thing. I had points where when watching this review and when doing my video on it, where I'm like, I don't want to be talking about this. But I feel like that's the war of attrition, because if they get us to stop talking and stop pushing back against this, that's when it becomes normalized. Like, people will just get sick of it, and then there's no one to push back.
Absolutely.
Well, this pretty much sums it up, Ethan. Absolutely. Even Lucifer is disgusted. Lou says the fact that he feels aroused by that is just 100%. And the fact that he comes out publicly and admits this, like, get some help. You know what I mean? Like, no joke. Like, Michael Jordan, get some help. This is not the way to do it, dude. All right, what else has he got?
Mileage may vary. I want to say that if you are concerned about people treating this as child pornography, there are probably thousands of people masturbating to this film as we speak. As far it's basically, and I'll put some shots, and I'll probably include footage throughout the whole review. But as far as like sexy music videos go, it's not bad.
Who the fuck says this? And he talks about, people viewing this as low grade pedophile porn, and they're probably jerking off to it. How do you stand by a movie when that's something that you can make a claim for? Where in your mind does it connect that if people are jerking off to kids, that this movie should be, allowed to be streamed?
I hate that, and I hate that excuse too. That, like, I've seen that one on Twitter too, where they're like, "Well, they're gonna get it anyway." Like, what?
Did you get so upset that your mic just killed itself? The rage took over.
Okay, sorry. Hold on, my mic cut out. Did you hear what I said?
No,
I just heard what you were saying. I guess my mic cut out.
As soon as you got angry, it cut out.
So angry. Anyway, they're like, well, so what I said was, well, they're gonna find this somewhere, like, may as well make it as innocent as possible. Like, what?
Yeah. People don't seem to understand, like, that's not an argument that works. Just because people are that doesn't mean that you openly put more out there.
Nope.
It's not an excuse to do more. Somebody said, are you sure he can get help? Isn't he a lost cause? Yeah, I take a pretty hard line when it comes to pedophilia. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, the rehabilitation, but also when it comes to punishment, when it comes to crimes, not saying he committed a crime, just explaining my stance with this. There needs to be some kind of justice served, but justice for pedophiles, I don't want to get this stream removed, but that takes there was a video, let's just say I tweeted a video out where a guy goes to meet a 13-year-old girl and ends up meeting her uncle instead. That's what I would consider justice. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want this stream to get taken down. You've seen that video, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was intense. You can find it on our Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Metal Gear Mando. Follow Lady Gravemaster at Lady Gravemaster. You get some interesting stuff. And also non-Cuties related stuff every now and then. So, if you want to cleanse your timeline, that's another good way to do it. Yeah. All right, what else this guy got to say? Let's see.
Are we live? Is this live? Oh, trigger warning. Honesty. So is that part of an attempt by the filmmaker to provoke? I'll say this. I don't get the sense that the woman who made this film is I think she just doesn't pull her punches. I don't think she...
What the fuck is up with that? Apparently the main girl in this movie is a sociopath, stabbing a child in the hand. What did you say? Why was it?
This was after she takes the picture of her privates and uploads them to social media, and he calls her a whore. Oh,
yeah. For those who don't know, who haven't seen the clip, there's a scene in the movie where the main character, Ami, she is confronted by a man because she tried to steal his phone, and to convince him to let the guy have her keep the phone, she says, okay, this would be a good idea. So she unbuttons her pants and she starts to pull them down. Then the guy pushes her against a door out of anger, and she bites his arm to get the phone, runs into the bathroom, takes off her pants, takes off her underwear, and takes a picture of her vagina and posts it on Instagram. Does anyone want to take a stab in the dark as to, why that sequence of events played out? Because I don't know. It seems like a big excuse to have something lewd happen in the movie.
The whole movie is lewd.
That's true. This is one example.
She is just. I mean, so one of the clips that I was able to actually watch all the way through of the film was one that Anna, that Star Wars girl, shared. I believe it was her, where Ami like pushes the other girl who has kicked her out of the dance troupe or whatever into the river and just stands there and watches her drown.
Yeah, I think that's what that Ken was pointing out, right?
Yep.
She tried to murder somebody.
Yep. No, like she's just like staring at her, like, like doesn't make a sound, doesn't call for help, doesn't try to help the girl, nothing. And yep, just straight up tries to murder the girl, and then runs off to go to the dance competition. Doesn't let anybody know that this poor girl who can't swim is in the river.
Yeah, and but the director just doesn't pull her punches. That's what it is.
Yeah. Trigger warning. Truth. Like, no.
Trigger warning. Honesty.
Like, yeah, no. That's not honesty. That is honestly, this whole film just seems to be an excuse for someone to live out their fantasy.
Well, you know what I love is that they use this director as a shield for criticism because she's a black Muslim woman, and how does that play into anything? What does your race and your ethnicity or your gender have to do with making this pedo porn, or this, it's not actually porn, but I mean, I think in some states it actually is classified as porn, because I mean,
they're like, they're being everybody is being invested. They've sent, Congress has sent a letter to the DOJ to formally investigate all parties involved, because they believe that it's several violations of the child sexual abuse criminal laws or something like that. The Half Asian lawyer Bill on Louder with Crowder actually did a really good breakdown of this on Monday, and just explained why the language is so broad so that it can capture more. Because when you say child porn or pornography, that's actually a really narrow and it's a really narrow description. And so because it's not very broad, more stuff could slip through the cracks, as it were. So instead, they say child sexual abuse, because that opens it up. It's a much broader term. So like the positions, twerking, I'm sure, and I know everybody in the chat here probably is well aware of this, but the dance, the twerking that they're doing is meant, it comes from mimicking riding a cock. Like, that's what it is. And you're having 11-year-old girls perform this. So
it's just a free-spirited dance crew. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's free-spirited.
Yeah, free-spirited. Absolutely. And so they're being investigated. They're looking into this because several of these laws, common sense dictates that several of these laws were violated. And, it's going to be up to the Justice Department and the investigation, because again, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. But the proof is right there on a mainstream platform for you to look at.
This this chat moves quickly. Thank you. We have 44 people watching, so thanks. Appreciate it. First stream. That's pretty. First podcast. It's pretty fucking awesome. Appreciate it.
Great. Congratulations.
Right? Thanks. Well, I think they're more than half of them are here for you, so we split it. It's okay. Frankie Zen said they're trying to normalize it because then they know the truth is coming out. Yeah, they're in a rush before what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, Maxwell
outs everybody.
Yep.
That's exactly what it
names.
is. She knows everybody. Okay.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine thinking that you'd be able to get away with that for as long as they've been getting away with it for so long, but for her to come out and say that she has all of these names and she's got video and audio evidence and pictures. I hope
bullets.
I hope all of them are pissing themselves right now, and that I'm all for bringing back the brazen bull. I'm just saying, I'm okay. I'm down with it. Huh?
Televise it, pay-per-view it.
Absolutely.
Somebody said that we should if we abolish prisons, but we turn it into like Running Man. I'm like, yes, let's do like a death race scenario.
I'm okay with it.
Give us some entertainment.
When it comes to people like this, I'm good with it.
Shiny Mimikyu. Hello there, Mando. Hello there, Lady Gravemaster. What do you do specifically, Miss Grave? What do you do?
Miss Grave is not my name, though. That's kind of cool. No, right now I am helping Nerdrotic. You may have heard of his channel, Gary Beekler over at Nerdrotic. I help produce his live streams, his show. I do the best I can. It's kind of like herding cats, but it's great. They're all great people. Josiah Rises, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. You've got Ryan Cannell from RK Outpost and Geeks and Gamers. Quarter Black Garrett stops by sometimes. You got Az, who's currently dying, so hashtag save Az over at Heel versus Babyface. They're really such great guys. They work real hard. They're doing a great job over there. And so right now, what I do, I just try to make their lives easier and make sure that you all have stuff to enjoy, specifically on Friday Night Tights. So
she does many things. Also, neglected to say, she has a YouTube channel. She's also a YouTuber now. So go follow her or go give her a sub on YouTube. Links in the description below. And Wallace, thank you. Underrated content creator. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're far too kind.
You
all
are
right.
underrated. You should be at like 200,000 subs right now on your way to a million.
Everyone can help that goal. Share the content, because YouTube does not send out notifications. I'm shocked that we have so many people watching, since they don't notify when videos are going up. But thank you all, and thank you, LG. I appreciate it. Let's unfortunately get back to MrGirl.
Yeah.
She's trying to titillate simply for the purpose of titillation. If she were, she probably would just cast adults.
Like, what the fuck?
Make her life a lot easier. I think that the film is kind of roping you into the discussion of the sexualization of children by sexualizing children, and by making you complicit in that, because the camera forces you to ogle these 11-year-old girls. And so let's put the morality of that aside.
This is where I start to have a problem. You don't get to remove the morality from the film.
Nope.
That's not how this works. And I understand. Somebody said that I was being too emotional when discussing this, and I can get it. I can get it, because like I get fired up when I talk about things, and I make a lot of I make jokes, right? Like I have a rant coming out maybe today, where whatever, you'll see it today, maybe tomorrow. But I get a little carried away with stuff. But when it comes to something with children involved, I don't have a tolerance for that. And you can say that it's irrational. You can say that it's not consistent. I don't really give a shit. If it has to do with kids, I'm not fucking down with it. And I'm not down for anybody defending it under any reason. I'm just not okay with it. And you know what? You want to call me hypocritical for that? I don't really give a shit. Are you on the same line with that? Do you have a different take on that?
Nope. That's pretty much verbatim.
Yeah, it's call me what you will, but you're not going to call me a fucking pedophile or a pedo normalizer, because that's what people like this are doing, and it's sick. All right, what else has he got here?
And just take her art at face value. It's pretty interesting to be forced to do something. It's kind of like The Last of Us 2. It's a great game.
Of course he would like it. Of course he likes The Last of Us 2. This explains everything. This guy, he's got a body pillow of Abby. Guaranteed, 100%.
I wouldn't doubt it, honestly.
To be forced to do something that you're uncomfortable with, and to have to grapple with what role you're playing in the creation of the culture that these girls are participating in. And it's real. It's very realistic. I don't know if you've ever heard of the app TikTok. There's some pretty interesting stuff on there that I've checked out, and I recommend you check it out. Girls of all ages are dancing and guys are.
Here's the thing, and I made this point in my video. It wasn't enough, right, for Cuties to exist. He's got to bring it into the real world with TikTok, where you have actual girls. I mean, the movie had actual girls, right? And that kind of goes into it, where you're using actual girls, little girls, 11-year-olds to show exploitation by exploiting them. But for him, he had to take it out of the film medium to real life and talk about underage girls on TikTok.
And recommend that we go look at them. Like, that's how you know this dude's twisted.
Yeah, and he recommends it multiple times. He talks about, not just with the TikTok thing, but you heard him say, I think at least 2 or 3 times already, that it's a really good movie. You should check out the movie. It's better than most movies, is what he said. Yeah. I don't know what kind of movies he's watching, but I don't know if I want to know. Lou says, well, your reaction, whether you feel disgusted or attracted to those clips of children, MrGirl separates the decent human beings from the degenerates 100%. I said that his foot, and again, this is my opinion for legal reasons, but his foot is firmly in the diddler camp rather than, you know, the
Absolutely.
functioning member of society camp.
Man, this is what happens when everybody gets a freaking participation trophy or gets told that they're special or whatever you want. Like, this is not okay. And for him to be like, you have to, you know, consider what your role is in this culture that's being created. I don't want that culture. I am rejecting that culture. I don't want it. I am going to fight against it, which is why the last movie I went to was Sonic, solely because they listened to the fans. But I can't watch anything from current day Hollywood. I have to go back to my 80s and my 70s films and, you know, my 90s cartoons and stuff like that, because it's all just trash right now. The music sucks. Movies suck, with very few exceptions. I haven't found a show that I really like since, I don't know if Nathan Fillion's Castle, he's got a new one, The Rookie, that is pretty decent, but the last one that I actually really, really liked was probably Castle. And that was several years ago now, too. It's just, everything is just going down a crapshoot of woke and more crap.
Yeah,
and
well, it's the
media people
regressives.
like this. Yeah,
they're making it full circle. You know, they started trying to make progress, and they're actually going back in time to where we have, you know, open season with pedophile films. Have I Metal Gear Mando? On an unrelated note, have you heard of B-level Star Wars? I have not. I do not know what that is. Also, I wanted to highlight this really quick. Epic Cast. How is that chat pop is even working? I don't know if that's a thing with YouTube or what, but hopefully the chat's working. It seems to be okay. All right, let's continue.
For dancing like this, dances have become more explicitly sexual. But then, you know, I listen to everybody saying these things, and I think we just sound the same as like old fogies did in the 50s and 60s. So it's interesting to be kind of held accountable by the film, or maybe just informed. I don't know. The only indicate so there's a scene where they're dancing on stage, and there are these judges that are like frowning, or and like just people in the audience that are frowning. That's the only indication the film gives that this is odd, or that they are overly sexual.
And for the movie to make them the bad guys, I think speaks volumes, right?
absolutely.
If the bad guys are the ones who don't want the children sexualizing themselves,
Yep.
how does that make any sense? How are you going to say that the good guys, you know, are the ones encouraging this?
Because that's these people's mentality. Like, if you put too much pressure on them, if you put too many limits on them, you know, if you're too strict, if you show too much discipline, you know, they're gonna revolt and they're gonna do it anyway. I beg to differ. Yes, there's a fine line. Like, you know, you need to know where that line's at, but you genuinely can't sit there and tell me that an undisciplined child is going to behave better than a disciplined child, or someone who's going to just. I think Hollywood especially has become obsessed with this idea of like the sheltered small town girl or the sheltered small town boy who goes to the big city and just goes crazy and, you know, gets into all of the hardcore stuff because they've never experienced it before and they need to know what it's like. But that's not a majority of people. That's not how a majority of humans act. Several people want to make sure that they, you know, succeed, that they're productive members of society, that they make their parents proud, that they make themselves proud, that they can, you know, find a significant other that they're happy with, who they build each other up with, and maybe one day they have kids that they can support and bring up the same way. And so for Hollywood to be obsessed with this narrow tunnel vision view of how more conservative thinking people, and I don't mean conservative the party, I mean like more conservative values, to have that narrow-mindedness and view of that specific idea or group, that the second that they're given a taste of freedom they just go crazy, is extremely misleading. and has done far more damage to themselves credibility wise than anything else, because I know for a fact several people who grew up in the church and they're still part of the church and they never really left the church. They never fell away from the church to come back to it. They kept on keeping on. And so for Hollywood to think that everybody is going to relate to this specific portrayal is sick in its own right.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on this because this is actually something that he somewhat addresses in the kill stream. So I wanted to get your take on this. I just wanted to shout out Angel really quick. Angel says, "Yikes, how are you watching this and not bashing your skull in?" I think we both did that when we first watched it.
Yep.
And we had to recollect our brains and then get ourselves prepared to rewatch it again with all of you.
There's a hole in my wall from where I punched it.
She signed it saying this was MrGirl's fault.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, welcome. Holy shit, this is my first ever super chat ever.
Yay!
Devil-eyed Elvis, what up, sir? This also one of my first followers on Twitter. Amazing dude. Devil-eyed Elvis says every institution the left has a foothold in seems to have an interest in normalizing this. Yes. Yep. They just want to push the angle of, you know, children are just like adults, right? MrGirl even says in this video, he says little girls are horny, and it's like, okay, that's fucking cool. Like their parents are going to have that conversation with them. You know what I mean? That's not something that you need to do, or that Hollywood, or in this case, you know, French, whatever the fuck Hollywood is, but you know, that these filmmakers need to do. That's not their job. That's not their role. You know, it's a family thing. It's growing up. It is a normal thing for kids to eventually, you know, as they mature, explore sexuality, but that's not your place. And that's not this movie's place. So dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Devil-eyed Elvis. That's awesome.
So what's his face here? MrGirl does talk about how, you know, his belief, he's very liberal if you couldn't tell, but he does push back on liberal ideals sometimes. Like you and I were talking last night, where he says that like liberals are kind of pussies, to where they don't want to seem conservative. So they don't want to give the pushback, even though they might not be okay with it. And another point that he talks about is that if we didn't have these laws on the books, people would go out and just, you know, indulge in insane amounts of depravity. And now, pushback on your argument a little bit, and I'd like to get your insight, is that we have seen, I believe, I might be wrong, so somebody fact check this, or if somebody can find out, correct me. There was a Scandinavian country, if I'm not mistaken, that got rid of the punishment for pedophilia, and they saw a skyrocket in pedophilia crimes. I think that, you know, when it comes to something like that, there needs to be laws, but I don't think they're necessarily related when it comes to, like, if we didn't have a law against murder, I don't really think that a majority of people are going to go out and start murdering each other. I think that our morality comes from, you know, either Judeo-Christian values or, you know, just how you're raised. Mm-hmm. Do you think that law is the only thing that dictates how we behave?
No, law is a reflection of the morality of the institution or the community or the nation that it's a part of. So the laws don't dictate morality. They are simply there. So that's why they're called law enforcement officers, because the law is there because when that line of morality that the community, the nation has stated that this is a line you don't cross, and if you do, this is what happens. There are consequences to that action, to that lapse in morality. You will face this consequence. So the law itself isn't there to create morality. It is there for when morality fails. So it's meant to be this deterrent from it. So similar to how you've got this is going to sound ridiculous, but like tax laws. So there's a tax on cigarettes and booze because it's supposed to de-incentivize you from purchasing them en masse, like in, you know, consistently in large quantities. Obviously, there are people that are addicted to cigarettes, alcohol, all of that, who the tax doesn't matter to. They're going to pay it anyway because they want it. And then you have incentives such as if I know right now the big thing is green energy. So if these companies, start delving into green policies, or if they cut their carbon footprint by so much, they get a tax break. So the companies are being incentivized to follow this certain way. And that's kind of how the law works. Your reward for being a good citizen is you get left alone. You don't go to the courts. You don't get brought to the carpet to get called out. You don't have any of these issues. You become a productive member of society, and you hopefully become successful, and you carry on whatever family legacy you may or may not have, or you start your own. But if you do fall into depravity, if you do lapse in that moral area, the law is there to make sure that you pay for that.
Yep, I could not agree more. I think it's definitely a backup, and I think that people that make that argument have a very low opinion of other people, and I think that that's a difference in ideals, to where I think that not to get too political. This obviously we touch on political stuff, but this is more like an entertainment thing that happens to deal with the reason why we talk about politics on this channel. And I've explained this multiple times, but I keep getting people saying, "I thought you didn't like politics." It bleeds in to entertainment. And when you're addressing, especially now when you address things like this, it's going to have overlap. So that's why we kind of do a deep dive on it, because it's a way to explain it. And when you talk about morality, I mean, unfortunately, it's become a political thing. I don't know how we got divided on this point of pedophiles bad.
Yeah.
But here we are. Devil-eyed Elvis says again, "Don't mention it. I love you guys to death, Lady G." You are too kind, sir. We're going to get back to the video here in just a second. I just wanted to get caught up, and we got one more super chat to go through. Delightfully Geeky says, "Pause in the serious talk to congratulate Mando. This is so awesome. Even though you hate Ewoks, it's great to see your channel grow." Virtual hug. Yeah, Ewoks can burn, but thank you. I appreciate it. Let me get to this super chat really quick. Oh, no, that's not it.
Oh, you got another one? Oh, my God.
I'm going to mispronounce your name, so I really apologize, dude, but I appreciate it. So Sol Mahan, please tell me if that's wrong. The world exists in balance. It needed left to expand its senses, but now that expansion reach out, the depraved normalizing it. It needs a bit of conservative. Yeah, it needs a bit of a conservative leash. Yep. There needs to be some give and take, right? And right now they're just taking. It's the, give them an inch and they take a mile kind of thing, where
Absolutely.
Elvis pointed out earlier, they control all of the institutions, the media, the schooling, big tech. So when they talk about institutionalized problems, who's controlling the institutions? The people that are pushing this. Oh, okay. Thank you, Greg, or excuse me, Gage. Another super chat. Gage Klein says, "Me, an existential nihilist. We're all fooked. Can we just become extinct now?" No, but I can say a select few people. I'd be okay if they went extinct. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's get back to this guy.
Well, so before we touch on that real quick, what I was gonna say previously was, when people ask, particularly now, politics, it's almost impossible to avoid the conversation. I think it's also really important, sort of like I made the distinction earlier. You have the Democrat Party, you have the Republican Party, you've got the third party, you've got the Tea Party and the Green Party and everything. I think it's really important to note the difference between conservative values and the Conservative Party, because the two are not mutually exclusive.
100%. And you see some liberals, right, even talking about this.
Oh yeah,
because they're classical liberals, not leftists, because there is a difference that find this disgusting, because anyone with a moral compass would find it disgusting.
Even a broken moral compass finds this disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. Kate said, "Greg, I'm sorry." I'm really sorry. That's the first thing I saw. I apologize. All right, let's get back to this video.
And it holds it back. And spoilers! I'm going to spoil the whole movie, by the way. So if you want to watch the movie, just watch the movie. You should watch it. It's good. She holds back the audience reaction until the very end, and you see a lot of people going, oh, this is no good, this is making me uncomfortable, as these girls are doing increasingly provocative and increasingly sexual dance moves, almost to the point where it starts to feel surreal when they're like wiping their hands on their crotches. I think from the back, if memory serves. I'll have to watch it again and again and again. So as a
that's something that people point to as him joking, which I think that was a joke. I do think that he was making, that was a joke, but people point to that clip and they say that, see, this review's a joke, and it's not. He made a joke in a review, but this review is not a joke.
Nope.
Yeah, and Spinspot said, "You're Greg now." I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I get these super chats and I mispronounce the fucking name like an idiot. I'm so sorry. I feel awful. But
sorry,
anyway.
Gage. Greg.
Yeah, sorry.
Gage?
Yeah, dude. It's Gage. Oh no. You're not Greg. Never again. I'm gonna burn that into my memory. That's the super chat that's gonna stick with me forever. Deviled Eyes was my first. Deviled Eyes. Elvis was my first ever super chat. Gage's was the one that I mispronounced terribly. Oh God. All right.
And it wasn't even a different language.
I know. I'm somewhat literate sometimes.
Discussion piece, it's pretty interesting. I think that it does give you a lot to talk about and a lot to think about, and it doesn't exactly tell you where to land on how appropriate this dancing is, and how do we? Children are horny, little girls are horny, and they want to express that, and we aren't sure how to handle that kind of graceless transition from being 9 to being 13 or 14 or 16. And this
it's not graceless. There's years in between
all
that.
about.
Yeah, there's a lot of development that goes on. Like he kind of skips some steps there. Don't you? Sorry, go ahead.
Lisa Frank. I don't know if you know all of the like. She does like the fuzzy. It's a company that does like the fuzzy coloring pictures and stuff like that, and they have journals, and it's all like, it's literally there. Like, there's a reason those things are so popular for that age group, because little girls tend to write stuff down. They vent through a journal or a diary, if you want to call it that. Like they vent through that stuff. That is how most little girls deal with it. They express themselves in some artistic fashion, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's drawing, coloring, whatever it may be. They're going through these huge emotional roller coaster changes. They like boys, the boy doesn't like them. They're being teased because they're not wearing makeup, or they're wearing too much makeup. Like, there's all of this crap that goes on that is just normal teenage stuff, and it all gets dumped out in whatever expressionism they choose. Not like this, though. This is not how it's done. They don't go out seeking this stuff. And like you said, Mando, it is up to the parents to have that discussion. Certainly not Hollywood. I don't know why they think they're the moral arbiters of this trash, because we all know what has been going on for decades in that sin-infested den of disgustingness. Well,
they want to be the ones to teach your kids. So I mean, if you all want somebody like MrGirl to teach your kids about sexuality, I mean that's what you're getting right now. When you talk about sex ed, when you talk about school, if they're pushing at 11 that it's okay to act like this, there is something wrong. Yep. And it speaks to the moral degradation in our society.
Absolutely.
I'm going to highlight this. Gage says, I think a big issue is the country focuses on the duopoly. What? Yeah. Never heard that word before in my life. I'm going to have to look that up. Thank you for expanding my vocabulary. Not only did you super chat and let me mispronounce your name, you've now taught me a new word. We have and how the MSM only fixates on the extremes for both sides. We need more ideas that don't fit in the echo chamber of both sides. Yes, 100%. What was that?
Yeah, that's 100% true. Absolutely. Because the extremes are what sell. Nobody cares about the moderates because the moderates are the normal people. The moderates are the normal situations. The moderates are the 80% in the middle that, you have your top 10%, you got your bottom 10%, and everybody else is the 80% in the middle who are just the moderate, normal people that want to live their daily lives and be left alone. And so you have to do the extremes because that's what sells.
Yeah, and I think that's why people get the idea that conservatives, not even Republicans, but just people that have conservative ideals are extreme. And it's like, no, we're just saying no, that we don't want to see children dressed in crop tops and booty shorts shaking their asses in front of people. Like, if that makes us extreme, then I guess, sure, we're extremists for not wanting that.
Absolutely. You shared it too. The Young Turks had that abysmal take on this whole thing where they had to blame the president and Republicans, and then you had the I mentioned this the other day because the mainstream media and Netflix are literally like shoving people to the right now. Like, it's not even, oh, we disagree here, but it's okay. No, they're like, if you don't like this, you are an alt-right dog whistling whatever. And so they're just like kicking normal people over to the right now. And I do mean the political right of the spectrum in this case, because everybody I've seen that has come to this defense in the mainstream media has been a left-leaning outlet, which is just insane to me that they're going to continue to peddle this simply because Republicans came out against it. So now they have to be for it. I don't understand that logic. Yep, the duopoly. Yeah. The two-party system, it's just mind-blowing to me that so many people are that entrenched in this concept that you have to follow party lines. And I literally pointed out, mainstream media is red pilling more people than any conspiracy network of whatever ever could by making this or letting it become a partisan issue.
Yeah, and I think we have media outlets like the Young Turks to thanks for that. When you label one party the ones that are against pedophilia, then you're not doing yourself any favors, really.
Nope.
Let's see. We had one super chat. Let's see. Alien Xenomorph. Thank you. Awesome name, by the way. Mika Curtis calls you Metal Gear Grifter. Who's Mika Curtis, first of all? And second of all, I don't know how I'd be labeled a grifter. I mean, if you want to consider something like this small, like a tiny issue, and the fact that I cover it being a grifter, I guess, but then I would I have to say, like, check what the definition of grifter is. Mm-hmm. My whole channel's kind of built on pushing back against this, so I mean, I don't know what Mika wants, but all right. Wise Wolf just Deus Volt. Yeah, Spinspot points out, grifter, a person who engages in petty or small scale swindling. Yeah,
Can also be a big one.
I guess I'm swindling people out of the super chats right now. Sorry, I'm swindling all of you out of super chats, guys. My bad. Sorry that I speak out against pedophilia, but I mean, I guess Mika would rather support it, so that's cool.
Apparently.
All right, what else we got here? Let's get into the video again.
Zooming in on that and kind of asking us all what we are doing to participate in this, encourage it, discourage it. It's all shown. So there are characters who ignore her sexuality, like her father. There's a scene where she tries to strip for her father to get him to give her his phone. She steals his phone and she's trying to get him to let her keep it. She starts taking her pants off, and he ignores it and is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She responds by taking a picture of her vagina. And posting it on Instagram, which we'll get to later.
Did anyone connect the dots there? Did anyone see how stealing a phone and then re-stealing that phone leads to running into the bathroom and stripping and taking a picture of your vagina and posting it on Instagram?
I don't follow that logic.
Am I the only one that's lost here? I mean, I don't know.
No idea.
Not necessarily sure how that goes.
We have characters basically shunning her. Her great aunt and her mother basically do like this exorcism thing where they're trying to like cast her sexuality out of her. Even the girls themselves freak out about their own sexuality in a way where one of the girls finds a condom.
Before he gets into this, that scene, there's a clip of that scene on Twitter, and she starts like writhing on the floor, like basically doing a like twerking dance on the floor as her parents just cover her in water. And it's like, oh, look at this scene. They're trying to do an exorcism while they drench this child in water while she's, you know, like you explained, twerking, which is like mimicking riding a dick. It's like, this is not an appropriate image. This
Nope.
You can try to pass this off as whatever you want. Call it an exorcism machine, an exorcism scene, but this is an excuse to do a kiddie wet t-shirt scene.
Yep. Especially because you don't see, like, it pans over it from the part of the clip that I did see. It pans over and you can't see that it's her aunt and her mother throwing the water on her. It literally, it's just coming from off screen, and so she's just getting drenched in water.
Yeah, it's fucking gross. It's gross. I know I keep repeating myself, and I try. You know, I normally like to be a little more descript when it comes to this, but I honestly I'm struggling to find other descriptors other than it's fucking sickening, because I don't know how anyone looks at this and doesn't just get upset about it. It's fucking ridiculous.
I have no idea.
And is pretending she thinks it's a balloon. She blows it up and is pretending it's her breast. And then the other girls realize that she's playing with a condom, and they say, it's going to give you AIDS, you're going to die. And then they start scrubbing her tongue with soap. And it's like, it's just a great metaphor for the way that kids want to be sexual and are all about it. And then
kids just want to, I'm going to get off this. Hold on.
The like real nitty gritty of sex, the scary parts are like way, way too overwhelming and terrifying. And
so how is that a perfect metaphor? First of all, how is that a perfect metaphor for kids wanting sex? I don't understand that.
I have no idea.
They find a condom on the ground, therefore they want sex.
Yeah, and I'm not like, they're scrubbing the soap out of, or they're scrubbing her tongue off with soap, and it's just this perfect metaphor. Like, no, what? Like, soap is meant to clean things. It's meant to like help sterilize stuff. They think she's going to get a disease from a used condom, which, you know, there's tons of stuff that could be on that thing. Who knows? But it's just, there's nothing there that is a metaphor for anything. They probably use soap to scrub her tongue because they are children and they know that soap gets rid of germs. They aren't aware of bloodborne pathogens and STDs and all of this other stuff because they're not supposed to know. They're children. And you're not doing any favors. I swear to God, all of these people, like, they got jaded as a kid, or they lost their innocence too young, or someone told them that Santa Claus wasn't real. He's real. He is real. I'm going to let you all know Santa's real. But, you know, they got told Santa wasn't real at like the age of 4. And so now they feel like their innocence got taken away. So they're just going to continue that vicious cycle. This is literally how it comes off. Like, children don't deserve to be innocent because I wasn't allowed to be innocent. That's literally how this comes off.
I agree. I want to highlight something that Shiny Mimic, you said. Mando stream, please cover something like Star Wars, as hiding in the description to avoid clips is not fun. Are you referencing the video that I put out, Mimikyu? And I explained it in the video. The reason why I didn't show that is because if the movie is going to say that they're fighting against sexualizing children, I'm not going to further, push what, sexualizing children in my video by showing those clips. The clips that MrGirl in this stream is showing is bad enough. And if I could edit it out, I would, but I can't. And if we're going to do a live response, that's what we have to do. But when I have the choice to edit something out, I'm going to edit that out. There's not many things that I would do that for, but that is fucking one of them for sure. Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
It's like a playing with fire thing. So it kind of gives you this jumbled portrait of all the different ways that we respond to the sexuality of young girls. And it juxtaposes these amazing scenes where it's like you'll see the girls playing on a bed where they're stuffing gummy bears in their mouths, and they're just totally children.
Because they're children.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see them shaking their booties on this stairway as they make this this viral video. And
Prepare yourself. I'm warning you now. Prepare yourself for this.
This is.
Is everybody ready? Just grip onto your desk. Make sure you're sitting down for this one.
Bite some wood.
They're
Like
pretty
put some between your teeth
hot.
so you don't shatter them.
And they're pretty hot. And you can say whatever you want about me. It's not my fault. I didn't make them do that. They did that. That's the point.
I didn't make them do that. Like what? What are you talking about? It's not my fault. I find them hot. They're just they're just hot.
Yep. They did it, so I'm just gonna appreciate that it's there because I'm a sicko, and it's not my fault. They gave it to me, so I'm just gonna go ahead and accept it. God,
they deserved it. They deserved it, right? That logic, it reminds me of like like she was asking for it. She's fucking like that's basically what I hear with this.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
they did it they're the ones that did it. I'm just the innocent bystander who has to consume this stuff. I have to watch it because they put it out there. Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When I see arguments like this, Angel Wren says literally victim blaming, you idiot. Yeah, exactly. These children, how dare they make me turned on? How dare they make me find them attractive? Angel kind of took my point where you're just blaming the victim of a crime, or I'm not gonna say crime because legal, but a victim of sexualizing children. You can't blame a child because some adult directors said, hey, you should definitely dress in skimpy clothes and, potentially do some serious damage to yourself, mentally, not even just like your image, right? Because you're a kid. I don't think anyone's going to blame you, but like what that could do to you mentally is.
Look at the Corey. Look at Britney Spears. Look at all those childhood stars. A majority of them are screwed in the head from being child Hollywood actors and actresses. And a lot of them were not in anything remotely depraved as this on screen, at the very least. Oh, shocking. Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Oh, yeah, we're coming to that, Sandman. We're coming. That's actually right here. Right here.
The whole point of the movie is that you're supposed to be sitting there thinking, look at the blonde one. You're supposed to be sitting there holding these two thoughts in your head, and one that these are kids and the other that they're hot.
No.
And I don't even know if you're supposed to be comfortable with that.
I don't get that. I don't understand that. How do those two sentences go together, man? You fucking say they're children, but look at the blonde one, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be okay with that. That's a problem. That's the problem. You don't know that you're supposed to be repulsed by that.
Yep.
How do we get to that point?
This is revile. Like this is vile. This is revolting. This is just so many levels of depravity that I can't even put into words. Like this is some like ninth circle of hell shit is what this is.
Yeah. How do you say no? I mean, like, how do you say that? I don't know if you're supposed to be okay with it. Yeah. Where's the link? Where is that missing for you?
Yeah.
Lou said, never let children get near this trash. I don't know if you're referring to him as a person, but I would agree. Or Cuties, the movie. And that's a problem. It's, available for streaming. People can stream it right now, including children. So it's putting out grooming material into your living room. And unfortunately, this is what I will say, is that unfortunately, a lot of parents aren't parenting their kids, and they just turn on Netflix or whatever and let them do their thing. So who's to
Absolutely.
say that they're not going to stumble across this and see it? Or who's to say that a parent doesn't see something, oh, cuties, little girls, my little girl would like that, and puts it
Mm-hmm.
on?
Yep.
And in the movie, multiple times, as we've seen with this Instagram private part picture, you know, it makes it seem like a good thing that they're posting this because she's getting Instagram likes and
Yep.
followers. It's teaching your kids that, oh yeah, sexualizing yourself online, absolutely, you'll get a lot of likes. And all these kids these days, you know, look at TikTok. I sound old as shit right there. All these kids these days, you know, that's what they're all about. It's all social media, and they want that. I mean, TikTok has you know, there's been investigations and there's been talks of them artificially influencing people's behavior when, like, you speak negatively about China. If they, like, you know, if you do that, they like you start seeing your followers drop. But if you speak
Yep.
good about it, they go up all of a sudden.
Yep.
It's socially engineering your kids, and this is going into that.
Mm-hmm.
Angel Rin says, never forget Vito defended this video. He defended Cuties, yet he calls out an innocent man like Vic as a predator. Pisses me off. Hypocritical twat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, do you want to add anything? Sorry, I kind of went off on a rant there.
No, by all means, go on. It's your channel. You do you. No,
I feel bad. It's like, hey, want to come on and listen to me fucking spurg out for a second?
no, you're totally fine. That's what this is about. This is why we're here, and I genuinely think that, you know, looking back now, I know I'm actually not that old in years, but like, even looking back 5 years ago, I have way more of a knowledge base than I did, you know, than I did back then. And so to go back 15 years or 20 years to when I'm these girls' age, then, you know, the whole difference in maturity is insane.
Yeah, it's huge gaps, huge differences. And again, that goes back to the place of who's going to have that conversation and who's going to deal with that. And it's your parents, right? Or your guardian or whoever, not Netflix, not some film director.
Mm.
It's more like you're just supposed to be informed that you are capable of that and that you feel that way. And I already knew that, but
Real quick, is he projecting here? I feel like this whole review is projection.
I I honestly think so, but at the same time, I can't tell anymore because these people have no shame. So I don't know.
I, th- I think it's a good thing to put that out there. Artistically, I think it's a good thing.
I hate that
Now, is it
taste.
exploitative? Yes, definitely. These kids are 11, so they don't really understand what they're doing. I made a porn last year, and I feel like I didn't understand. I feel like nobody should it be illegal? No, definitely not. It's not. It's not porn. Um, should parents allow their children to be in films like this? I don't know.
No.
So
No. The answer is no.
he says he came out with a porn, right? Which,
Yeah.
great, whatever. But he brings up a similar point later, which I won't spoil because I think it's important to discuss when he brings it up. But
Hmm.
that goes back to my point of projection, and it's like, well, I did it, so I guess it's okay. I don't know.
Maybe.
I kept thinking about if I had a daughter, whether I would let her be in this movie. And either way, your daughter's going to hate you, right? Later, she's going to hate you. So she'll hate you for squandering her career by not letting her be in this really good movie. It's well written
No, it's
and
not.
really well acted. And uh, I assume career launching for most of the girls in it. Or she's going to hate you for exploiting her because, like, child actors, most of their parents are pushing them to do it. So I don't know. Like, if you have a daughter who's 11 and likes doing sexy TikTok dances where she's shaking her ass all the time, and then some well-meaning and I assume not creepy filmmaker comes along and they're like, "I'd like to pay your daughter to shake her ass." uh, I guess I would say yes.
Did everyone hear that? Did everyone hear what he just said?
I assume not creepy filmmaker comes along and they're like, "I'd like to pay your daughter to shake her ass."
Like, you're what? Okay, he's gonna finish up this point here in a second, but what he's describing isn't parenting. You get to control what your kid's doing. It's, you know, they're not fucking adults. As much as people like to treat kids like they're older, or, you know, that's kind of the push for this. They're children, and they are under your protection and your guidance and direction.
Exactly.
If you don't want them doing something, they're not gonna do it. Be a parent. Put your goddamn foot down. No, you're not going to dress like this. No, you're not going to be in this movie. I don't care if you're upset about it. That's not how this works. And he even says that, you know, children can sometimes be pushed into it by their parents. And if that's the case with Cuties, then the parents need to be investigated.
Absolutely.
But the argument that he's making here is that, you know, would I let my kid do that? And it's like, how is that even up for discussion?
I don't know, but I do know that too many parents today are too scared to tell their children no.
Exactly. They're too afraid to parent. It's like the, you know, the TV parents where they just pop in front of a TV and they're like, here you go. This is your babysitter. This is what's going to take care of you, where you learn all of your values. And then we end up with Cuties. That's what's teaching your kids. God, Angel Wren says, dear God, never have kids.
Too late for me. Sorry.
Not you. She means MrGirl. Spinspot says, either way, your daughter is going to hate you. This guy is too cynical. Yeah, that's a running theme. And again, with the kill stream video, which I recommend you guys check out, you see his view for people is very low. And it's kind of like, Angel, what you were saying earlier, where it's like, if you take away, you know, the law, to think that people are immediately going to snap back into caveman mode immediately, I think is a more on the cynical side. And I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah, I think where are the fathers?
Well, they're all beta soy boys. That's where they are. There's no fathers. They have two mothers, is what it is.
Agreed.
Lou said
that's something clever to say, but I don't.
No, I'm right there with you. Lou says, you mean adults who sacrifice their children at the altar of fame? Those are not parents. Agreed. 100%. Could not agree more.
I guess I would say yes, but I would say it with the knowledge that she's going to be really pissed off about it later, and that we'd probably have a lot to talk about. It would not be a comfortable yes. So the movie itself, what's the movie actually about? Well, this poster is very misleading because there's not that much.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's a scene from the fucking movie, dude. It's not misleading. It's pulled straight from the movie. It highlights what they wanted to show. Even the French poster, it's the little girls, the group, and they have like shopping bags and stuff, and they're wearing panties and bras on the outside of their clothes, and they're still wearing like crop tops, and this is what they're showing. It is a sexualization. They're maturing these 11-year-olds, and again, MrGirl's own words in the stream that he did, he says that they make them try to look older. That's why it's okay, or that's why it's not pedophilia, because they make them wear makeup and they make them act older, and it's like, that doesn't change their age, dude.
Nope. I will repeat this with every breath in my body. A mature 11-year-old is still an 11-year-old.
Yeah, it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything. It's like a justification in your mind. It doesn't work. Angel said the movie's about your sick fantasies and you're way too comfortable with that. Stop trying to dress it up as something else, pervert. Yeah, and that kind of is like what I talked about with the projection thing, where just because you feel this way, which isn't right. Doesn't mean that everybody's feeling this way. He actually makes a bet. I keep bringing up this goddamn kill stream, but there's so much stuff in there that gives you insight into this guy's freaking warped view. But he says that if there was a child robot and you were going to get $1 million if you let it give you a lap dance and you didn't get a boner, but if you got a boner, you would die. He's like, no one would take that. It's like, yes, there would be people that would take that because we're not sick in the head. Like, you don't get to put us on your level, man. That's not how it works.
Dancing in it, actually. The movie is about a 11-year-old Muslim girl whose father has just met and gotten engaged to a second wife, and her mother is crushed by this. And it's really a scathing critique of Islam for about the first half, and the role that women are forced to play in Muslim families and societies. So this girl, seeing that her mother doesn't even really buy into the idea of her father having a second wife, and seeing the heartbreak and on a basic total second class citizen stature of women in Muslim societies, is horrified. But she's in Paris, so she sees her neighbor is doing these sex.
Before he gets into this, I want to point out his critique, and I was talking to LG about this before we got live. His review, the critique of the film itself, I don't think's off base. Everything that he just said right there, I can agree with. You know, if you want to make a movie criticizing a religion, in this case it's Islam, and how they treat women, yeah, go for it. Sure, because there are things to criticize, right?
Absolutely. Every religion has criticisms.
Yeah, you can make criticisms about anything, and I think that if you want to go with Islam, like that's a pretty intense subject to cover, especially as a Muslim woman. So that I'm like, yeah, okay, I can totally understand that. If this movie was just that and didn't have the sexualized stuff, sure, I'm all for the critique. The problem is that the way that they go about it, and then they're not defending like the critique aspect. They're defending the fact that, oh, we needed the sexualized kids. Or they're telling you that you're crazy. They gaslight you by saying, oh, it's only conservatives. It's really not that bad. Only the Bible thumping conservatives are mad about these dance scenes, which really aren't that bad.
The alt-right Christian fanatics.
Exactly. I didn't know I fell into that category. As a Christian fanatic, not being a religious person myself. But I appreciate all these leftists telling me that's where I'm at. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I didn't consider myself that either, but apparently I'm alt-right and yeehaw. Hey, Eskimonofono.
See, you have fans here. Again, since this was brought up, if you have not already checked out Lady Gravemaster's Twitter or her YouTube, links are in the description below. Highly recommend that you do so. Angel says, yeah, and my Muslim American friend are pissed off too because this is not how their family is. Yeah, and again, I think it's a wider critique, right? But I can definitely see how somebody who falls into that faith, who don't have the same things going on, would get upset by this. But no one's talking about that. That's the thing. No one is having that conversation because they're too busy defending children twerking.
Absolutely.
All right.
And there were so many other ways they could have done this. So many other ways.
Yeah, a documentary, I think, would have been far more effective because it shows you what's actually happening rather than fabricating a situation and saying, because this is actually happening. These are things we've talked about it here, that toddlers and tiara thing, and who else knows what's going on, right? I mean, you have drag queen story hour where you have like little boys going on stage, getting dollar bills thrown at them. Teen Mom, yeah, that's another excellent example. So that's documenting real life, and I think that if you were to do it that way, you maybe not have to show, where it gets really gratuitous, but if you're documenting what's really happening, then hey, guess what? This is happening. You're fabricating a situation now and saying this is really happening. It's like, yeah, well, no shit, we know it's happening. We know that, but you don't need to make up.
This show didn't offer really any criticisms. There were no consequences. 99% of the stuff that they did, there was zero consequences, and there were no real consequences through the entire film. They got booed a little bit, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I I think that this line of logic that they have is a very off base, to say the least.
I mean, it would have been, yeah, and it would have, you could have easily shown like the girl walking, like the, she was walking down the street or whatever. She looks up and there's all these billboards of grown women in lingerie or all of this other stuff that is actually affecting kids because kids see everything. So why not do it from that aspect? Like you could have, there were so many different avenues.
Well, I mean, then how would they get the kiddie porn in the movie if they did it that way?
Oh, thank you, No Leaf Clover. Yeah, I have no idea how they, that's the important thing right there. We gotta have those 11-year-olds, dropping it like it's hot. Ugh, I can't believe I put that in a sentence. That's so sick.
Struggle is
That's a
real.
sentence I never thought I would say.
Yeah, unless you're MrGirl, and then it comes very naturally.
Apparently.
She dances in the laundry room, and she starts getting involved with this neighbor girl and their group, and flips out way in the opposite direction. And then for the rest of the movie, she's basically going back and forth, witnessing the atrocities in both styles of life. And if the movie has a point, I think it's just that you can leave your cult without joining another. So at the end of the movie, her family's trying to pressure her to go to this wedding, and her dance friends are pressuring her to perform at this event. And midway through the event, she has this breakdown and leaves and rushes home. And her family berates her, or her great aunt berates her, and her mother's kind of stepping in the way and defending her, and telling her to get ready to go to her father's wedding. And there's this like horrible, terrifying shot of her seeing her father's new wife, which
This is
really
kind of
freaked me
scary.
out, and I'm sure has something to do with both of my parents remarrying and me being horrified by that. But at the very end, you can tell her mother is thinking of ditching the whole wedding ceremony too, and leaving her husband, but she's too entrenched. And you see this like very sad and touching scene where she basically tells her daughter, "You don't have to go to the wedding. I'm not going to force you to do this, but I'm going."
Everything he's saying, I am totally fine with. I think this film, the critique of it is good again. So I don't know if you have anything you want to add to this.
I would just say that, where he mentions leaving one cult for another, I think is sort of an unfair, like, I know you aren't very religious, but I know plenty of people who are
I think your
at a
mic cut
cult.
out again. You said you know plenty
Can
of
you hear
people
me?
that are religious.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm religious myself. I know plenty of other religious people who aren't cultish. They don't follow like zombies. They question. They add that they seek the truth. They want the truth. They don't want an objectification of the truth. They don't want someone's personal truth. They want the truth, and so that's what they're looking for. And there's plenty of religious people who think that way, feel that way. They search that way, and so I think with his broad generalization, I disagree with his broad generalizations throughout his entire critique, where he was like, you don't have to leave one cult for another. And, when all the way down to how all little girls are, it's a confusing, graceless transition. And that's not true. You can tell this guy has never been a little girl who has gone through these changes because yeah, it's awkward and you have to figure some stuff out, but that's why you have your mom. That's why you have your older sister. If you've got what, you have people that you can talk to. And so what I feel he is really pushing here without even really saying it is that we, without this in the mainstream media, we wouldn't talk about it.
I think that the cult point is interesting. I took it when he was speaking about it more in sense of the film, but I can definitely see now how it's applied, having it be applied to everything. Like he's saying that that religion is a cult, right? Which I don't really think. I think that comes from, he is a very liberal person, and I think that if you look at the way that most most liberals look at religion. That's kind of how it's viewed. Just judging from conversations that I've had with friends. I live in California,
Agreed.
for those of you who don't know. So pretty liberal state. So yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that for sure. And I can agree with like if he's calling like the Cuties thing a cult, like this sexualization and infatuation with being older as a child, like wanting to be sexy as a child, like that's like I can kind of see where he's coming from with that, where like she's leaving that behind. Because I don't know if he talks about it in this, I forget, but there's a shot at the end where she has like the dress from the wedding and the Cuties like outfit like laying on the bed next to each other, and then you see her again wearing just her normal clothes. Like that's a message that I can get behind. You know what I mean? Like you choose your own way as an individual. I think it would have been better if she was older, because I think being 11, I mean, if you do that at 11, then good for you. Like that's, you found yourself at 11, right? Like it's pretty nuts. But I don't disagree with that message where if you have two, in the context of this, two oppressive like entities in your life, doing your own thing's okay. But I think the issue comes up, which you made a really good point. I think the issue comes up when you expand that and you make these broad general statements about a religion or about religion in general.
Yeah.
Ethan Lent, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Ethan says, "Oh no, I've been swindled into giving a super chat. Anyway, I have to sign off, but wanted to leave something to show my support. Godspeed and God bless." Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. And yeah, swindling more money, just being the grifter.
You grifter.
Oh God, I might have to put that. I had to use that somehow. Metal Gear grifter. That's pretty good. Thank you, Ethan. Really appreciate it, dude. Okay. Do you want to add anything else to when it comes to his review? Because I think he's wrapping up here the critique part of it, and then he goes into more weird shit.
Yeah. I think let's let him wrap it up, and then I'll make my other comment.
Cool.
Basically, it's saying you can escape, but it's too late for me. And Amy doesn't go, and she changes her clothes. She doesn't wear the traditional outfit, the wedding dress that she's been dreading wearing, which one scene she sees bleeding in her closet. There's some like weird surreal stuff, but only very little, which kind of made it weird. And she doesn't wear her slutty like dancer getup that she was wearing before, and she just wears like clothes that make it feel like it's her, that she is just gonna be herself now. Which at age 11, shit, good for you. So the movie I think has a pretty positive message, and it's nice to see it come together. So there's also a lot of social commentary.
So yeah, and then he goes into this aspect of it, which is something that we've talked about, which his take on social commentary I think is going to be interesting. I just wanted to pause really quick for the super chat. Thank you, Eskimono, amazing name, an awesome profile picture. Thank you so much for the super chat, and I have to say General Kenobi to that. There we go, right there. Dank Link gets it.
Yes.
All right.
Laced throughout the movie, which I thought was pretty good. So the first time we see someone dancing, it is an 11-year-old girl, but it's shot so that we, I think, are supposed to not know if it's a woman or a young girl. And I mean, that alone just raises interesting questions. I think the whole thing, the title, Cuties, and I don't speak French well enough to know how accurate that is. It's a great title, because we already sexualize children.
Okay, I know where he's going with this. Hold on a second. We're going to get to the super chat first, because I know exactly where he's going with this, and it's fucking terrible. Angel Wren, thank you so much for the super chat. Angel says, this movie is about society sexualizing kids. No, wrong. Ami is the one, or Amy, whatever. Amy is the one doing this. She seeks it out. She teaches it to others. Society isn't pushed this on the girls. Ami is. message fail. Yeah, and that kind of goes back to us talking about Ami and how she's kind of a sociopath. Yeah, Angel says hasn't pushed this. Society hasn't pushed this. It's Ami. I haven't seen this movie, but I've seen enough people talk about it, and I've seen enough clips to get the sense that, you know, she's exploring things. She's the one. She's the protagonist. She's pushing this forward. You know, you even see, I think, in a clip earlier in his review, where Ami was doing twerking on the laundry room floor. I fucking hate that I have to say these words.
Yep.
But she's twerking on the laundry room floor, and the other girl, you know, who's already in the dance crew, says, "What are you doing?" So she's the one that's bringing this over. You know what I mean? She's kind of like the corrupter, right?
Absolutely.
I don't get it. And here's the thing. There's another dance crew apparently in the film that are played by older actresses, but they're supposed to be the same age as these girls. So I think they're above the age of 18 or whatever the legal age of consent is in France. But she does a quote unquote accidental nip slip at the end of the music video they're watching. So you have an adult woman flashing kids on you know, watching a video. So that's great. But
yep,
they have girls that are supposed to be these 11-year-olds, and they do you know, they have her lift up her bra. What more evidence do you want?
I have no idea. I swear they're gonna push until this is hardcore stuff, and then tell us that we're the crazy ones.
Well, we're the bigots. You know, if you fight against this, you're the big. We're standing in the way of progress. I can tell you, if this is progress, I don't want it. I don't want any of it.
None. Take it. Go away.
Take it all. Well, what they're taking us to is they're taking us back to the goddamn Stone Age. Sandman says it's 15 in France. That's fucking. It's ridiculous. I don't even understand this. Age of consent is 15. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't get how. I mean, your brain isn't even. Adult brains aren't even fully developed until your mid-20s. So now you're taking like 10 years off of that and saying that, oh yeah, these teenagers are perfectly fine to make possible life-altering decisions. I mean, it's just. This is where their argument derives from, because they're like, oh, you know, you're just a religious zealot, anti-sex, everything, because you think sex is bad. No, I think that sex among children is bad. I think 11-year-olds being sexualized is bad. I think 14-year-olds being sexualized is bad. I think 16-year-olds being sexualized is bad. I think that children being sexualized is a bad thing. I don't think sex is a bad thing. I think you need to be a mature adult before you have sex, so you understand that certain things that happen naturally, like pregnancy, can occur from that. But that doesn't mean that I think that all sex is bad. This is where they blur that line, where you're like, we don't want our children sexualized. Oh, you hate sex. You just don't want them to have sex. You want them to reject themselves. It's absurd.
Yeah. I think it's a game of labeling, right? Yeah. And I think it's kind of like what you said, where they're trying to back you into a corner. And absolutely, by saying that this is progress, you know, they've tried to frame you as somebody who's trying to, you know, bitter clinger is a term that I've seen thrown around a lot. And it's like, that's not the case. If you're on the side of the pedophiles, you're doing something wrong.
Yep. You're wrong. And that's why, I guess we'll get into this. Like, it's sort of a good segue. The reductio ad absurdum that I was talking about, you literally have to get, like, if their logic of, well, if you say you hate this, you actually love it, that logic then can be applied to anything and everything. So when they scream about how much they hate meat eaters, or how much they hate gas cars, or how much they hate the president, then you're like, oh, so what you're saying is you actually love those things. Okay, perfect. You are a Trumper, or you are a gas guzzler, or you love to eat meat. Got it. Thank you. That's when they freak out, because they have painted themselves into a corner, but people don't want to like bite back. They don't want to get into these discussions. They let themselves get painted into that corner, and then you become complicit because you have just allowed it to continue. You stay silent, you go off to the side, and you're like, nope, I'm in my own little world. I'm not going to worry about it. And you have to bite back, and you have to use reductio ad absurdum, because you have to show them the logical fallacy in their argument by turning it on their core point, whatever that might be. You'll find it eventually, but you just have to figure out what button it is to push for them to realize that, oh, that's not what I meant.
You have to show them the error of their ways.
Not exactly, but sort of. Yeah. Like, either, because if that, like I said, if that's the logic they're going to apply to everything you say, no matter what stance you take, it's always this way. Well, then you need to turn around and be like, okay, well then when you said this, and this, it really means you love this, and this. Because you don't,
yep.
Yeah, because if you don't, then you just let yourself get painted into that corner. And people really gotta get over, like, people are gonna call you names. I have been called terrible things. Oh my God, like, words are just words. Just get over it, move on, live to fight another day, or what have you, or take your stand right there. Name calling is just another form of insult when they have no argument to back it up. Now, if you're actually calling something out, like this guy right here is a depraved individual, that's not name calling. That is stating a fact, because he's clearly missing a piece of a soul somewhere in there.
Yeah, but it's the morality of it. I think that he's very honest, which credit him for honesty, I guess. But it's just there's some wires crossed for sure.
Mm-hmm. I don't credit him for it, because this is the other thing too. He said, this is, artistic. It's art. No, artistic expression doesn't give you, in this case, a literal get out of jail free card. You don't get to, this is artistic expression, so it's okay. Nope. Sorry. Rewind. Try again. Yeah, artistic expression is not a pass for this.
Yeah, it's not an excuse. So I guess I'll clarify my position. Yeah, he's at least being upfront with what his message is. He's not hiding it in a review like other people are doing, where you know what I mean. It's solely based on, oh, it's just artistic. It's not, it's supposed to get turned on by it. It's like, no, this guy's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But what makes it worse is that then he goes and supports it.
Yep.
That's almost as bad. Like the fact that he supports it is almost as bad as him saying that he's attracted to the girls in the first place.
Yeah.
Angel Rin, you did not have to put another super chat for this. I'm sorry I didn't highlight the chat earlier, but thank you very much. Angel Rin says, I just looked it up. France, the age of consent used to be 13. They pushed it to 15 in recent years, so progress, I guess. Yeah, we need more. We need more. Yeah. If we're gonna do progress, we need more of that. Angel says she was being sarcastic on progress, but I think that move the age of consent up. Like, Jesus Christ, 15. Yeah. That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, think about how you were at 15. I was stupid at 15. I was dumb.
You're a kid.
Yep. I was so dumb. I did so many stupid things. Quite frankly, I look back and go, I'm not sure how I'm not dead. I did so many stupid things, and like, I was never a partier. I never got into like all of the parties and the drinking and all of that stuff. It was never my bag. I never did that. But looking back, like, I've been an adrenaline junkie almost my entire life, and I definitely I went polar bearing at 15 for the first time.
What the hell is that?
Huh?
What is that?
Polar bearing?
Yeah. Do you
when
ride
you grow
them?
up north, this is a sport. You take an ice auger, you drill a hole in the ice, and then you jump in to the frozen, usually lake, because rivers have current underneath the ice, and it's stupid to do polar bearing there, but you do it in like a pond or a lake or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then the person who stays in the longest wins, and the person who is in there the shortest amount has to buy everybody else hot cocoa and soup. Yeah.
Where is this popular?
The northern part of the country in Canada. I grew up in North Dakota, so this was a normal pastime for me. Ice fishing, polar bearing. What a lot of people do is, especially if the ice is thin, they'll like cannonball into the pond, and then they'll run up and jump into the hot tub. It's a great time. But
I'm
like
gonna
I
have to
said,
take your word on it.
it's
I don't think I've ever
stupid.
done that.
There's a reason that they're like, it's the one sport where that one of the few sports where being fat is definitely an advantage.
You got the insulation that's
Yep.
keeps you warm. Oh God. I guess if I'm ever up north, I'm gonna have to ask somebody, hey, can we do this? Can we try this? Just to say that I've experienced polar bearing.
One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to look at you and be like, you are in for the best time of your life, or they're going to look at you and be like, you're crazy. No.
I wonder
You'll
if
die.
that's why I've seen videos of like people wearing swimsuits running up to like water and trying to cannonball into it, and they
That
end up
is
just
exactly what it
slamming
is.
on their ass.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That makes a lot more sense. Like the
Mhm.
context is so key with that.
So yeah, these people's problem is that, so if you have like dark ice, it's actually the water is really close to the surface. So that means you have a pretty thin layer. The whiter the ice is, so like the harder it is to see through, the thicker it is.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah, so that's how you sort of gauge if you can drive out there with your pickup and your ice hut when you go ice fishing, whether you need an auger or not to go polar bearing, all of that stuff.
Got it. I'm gonna keep that in mind in case I put an ice auger in my car. If anyone else is from up north, share your polar bearing experiences. Again, thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. Logan, what's up? Thank you for joining. Yeah. All right. Let's. That was a really nice conversation. Now we have to talk
Yes.
about this again.
Oh yeah. We could probably polar bear him, but just leave him. He
Just
doesn't
leave
look
him
like
in the
he's
ice.
got, yeah, he doesn't have very much body fat, so
It would remind me of that. You ever seen that like creepypasta picture of that like deer person in the ice? Have you seen that? So there's a photo of like this humanoid creature pressing its hand against the ice, like it's like looking up at you from below, and
Oh,
it's got
God.
like antlers coming out of the head. Yeah, it's terrifying. Oh, just kidding. We're not moving on just quite yet. George Farthing, thank you for the super chat. George says, I don't have much to add to this. You guys have been nailing it. It's beyond disgusting. Also, damn you, Mando, for swindling me out of my money. I can't stop. I'm sorry. Thank you, George. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody that has donated so far. I definitely appreciate it. While we're on that topic really quick, I have been asked if I'm going to open up channel memberships. Maybe at some point. I just want something that I can give to you guys. Like I feel really bad. Like I appreciate the super chats. I just feel bad because I'm not doing YouTube for money. I want the channel to grow and eventually maybe, but I definitely appreciate it. You guys are fucking awesome. But yeah, for the membership thing, at some point, as soon as I feel like I can give you guys cool stickers and some benefits that I think are actually worth it. But thank you guys. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
We tell a child that they're cute. We are telling them that they're attractive. And attractiveness is only one thing. It's sex. Attractiveness leads to sex. And it's all like connected. Like you have sex, and then a cute baby comes out, and then the cute baby grows up to become a cute adult, and then the cute adult has sex. So we're already constantly telling little girls, especially little girls, how pretty and how cute they are. And this film kind of asks you, well, taking that to its logical extreme, here's what it is. It's like the ultimate in cuteness. I mean, I was gonna say as long as you stop before porn or child porn, but I don't think I've never seen child porn.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. Bedtime for you. All right. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it, and thanks again for the super chat. You're an awesome person. Yeah, I can't say that he's never seen that. I don't know about that one. Logan says FBI open up. Oh God. Yeah. How do you make the leap in logic of little girls? You call a little girl cute for wearing a princess dress and a tiara. You know that doesn't mean you want to have sex with them, dude.
Nope.
Why do you take it to the extreme like that? Like you ever tell your mom that she looks really nice or whatever. You're not hitting on your mom. At least I hope you're not. But That's not what normal individuals are talking about. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, presses doubt hard.
Yeah, press.
No, and so like you said, he even said to take it to its logical extreme. Exactly, it is an extreme. Normal humans don't think like that. When you're like cute is an innocent term. Cute is a term of endearment. It is not a sexual term. And so for him to conflate the two shows just how screwed in the head this guy is. Because you don't look at a 6-year-old in a little Princess Belle or Princess Ariel costume and think, oh, so cute. I'm going to bang that one day, or someone's going to bang that one day. Like, I want to throw up that those words just came out of my mouth, because that's not what normal human beings think or see when they're saying that, oh, you look so good as you, like Halloween is a perfect example. Oh, aren't you just a scary witch? Oh, aren't you just the most adorable little princess? They are adjectives to describe an innocent look and a term of endearment when children do things that are genuinely make you smile or make you crack a grin and make you remember what it's like to be that innocent. So what he is doing is flipping that on its head and trying to say that everything is always about sex, purely 100%. And those are the people you have to worry about, because the fact that he's saying that everybody thinks that way means that this is the lens he views the world through.
Exactly, and exactly the point that I was going to make. The lens at which you're viewing everything, and it seems like it's very popular, with the left, that is their worldview is sex, right? Everything comes down to that. It's not a big deal, right? Casual sex is a thing. Like, and here's the thing: I'm not judging anybody. Anybody in this chat, if you want to go out and bang people, that's fucking cool, right? I'm talking from an individual level. For me, and just from what I've seen of the way that liberals talk about sex, is that it's it's not sacred, right? If you don't respect that, and it's, again, this is not coming from a religious point of view where, like, don't have premarital sex, whatever. But what I'm saying is, when you have the worldview of sex being so casualized, it's not really that shocking to see why somebody like this would have these views.
Yeah.
Eskimo Phono, another super chat, you legend. Don't call me cute or I might start twerking. Oh, God. No, again, you've been conned again. Eskimo Phono again with another super chat. I've been conned into giving super chats. Oh my God. Weren't you going to bed? You're here stuck talking to this con man.
You're just that good of a
unfortunate
grifter.
guest. Yeah, this grifter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Here we go. Sonic 2 says, Lady Gravemaster, you've made a great point. No one would say those things, even if even if they do, they're perverts and pedophiles. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay. What else we got here? What else do we have going on with this guy?
Nothing of value, that is for sure.
Nothing of value. We turn off the stream, not have to watch this guy's video. Nothing of value was lost.
Exactly.
But I haven't. But I think that it's probably not cute. I think that there's often, or probably always, a terrifying awareness, and I imagine the child is traumatized and completely checked out, and not in any sort of position of agency or power to be considered cute. So this might be, I don't know, this might be it. This might be the apex of the latent, unspoken, unidentified things you are telling your child when you say, oh, you're so pretty, look how beautiful you are, try this outfit on, look at your little tiara. If you strip away all the cushioning of that, and you look at what it is, you're objectifying your child. And so this is that kind of laid bare, and it's an interesting critique. The movie's not critiquing child stripper dance competitions. The movie's critiquing the way you look at and talk to and think about children, and it's not even telling you to change it necessarily, but just to be aware of it and the effects that it can have, which I thought was pretty cool. I think there's some good stuff in the movie about
I want to point this out really quick. Lord of the North says cute can mean attractive. Yes, cute can 100% mean attractive, but
Yes.
and I don't know if you're arguing for or against him, but you know the point is I'm not calling you out on something. I just want to clarify. Cute can mean attractive depending on the context. So again, if you call your daughter cute, chances are you're not saying she's cute because you find her attractive. You know what I mean? You're calling her cute because she looks cute in a tiara, you know, or in a little dress. Like that's you're not hitting on your daughter.
Absolutely. No, and you know, to his point here where he was like, this is the apex, this is you're sexualizing your child. No. So what he's referring to is vanity, and that's one of the 7 deadly sins, as a matter of fact. So vanity is definitely not something you want to encourage in your children. Vanity is not something that you want to be at the crux of their psyche, but building your child up, like I tell my littles, I'd be like, where does true beauty come from? And they'll say from the heart. And so that is where we're talking about what it means to be beautiful towards someone else, to be a good person, to work towards, you know, being that light for other people. And then I tell, you know, like, where does true strength come from? From the heart. Like, you know, I have seen guys in wheelchairs who have some of the biggest hearts and can have like literally moved mountains for other people. And then I see these strong men who are too busy staring at themselves in the mirror. There is a grave difference between vanity and self-obsession and caring about your health, your well-being, making yourself appropriate in appearance, and trying to be a good person, to like learn and grow from your mistakes and to know what truly matters in this world. So to say that all parents are sexualizing their children by saying that they're beautiful or that they're cute or that they're handsome or anything like that is proof that, one, he's not a parent, and if he is, they need to be taken away from him, stat. And the fact that he can't separate sexual drives or sexual desires from endearment proves that all he really genuinely cares about is the end goal of sex, like to get to the end and to bang it all out. And that's not what this means at all. If that,
yeah. No, absolutely. Yaman or whatnot says, "Hey Mando, context matters a lot. No, stop it. You're being so bad can mean 2 things." Yeah, and I agree, and I think LG agrees too. She's explaining the context. You know what I mean? Like there's different ways things can be communicated, or what you're communicating can mean multiple things. So I don't think we're arguing against context. We're arguing for context. This guy is correlating, it's a blanket statement. It means different things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
100%. All right, let's see. We're actually moving through this pretty well. Do you have enough time to get through the end?
I've got about maybe 10, 15 minutes.
All right, cool. Let us continue.
And this is kind of obvious from the trailer, but how the grass is always greener on the other side. That as a repressed Muslim, you might think that there's all this freedom in dancing slutty, but so I think the message is...
Sorry, hang on a second.
Oh my gosh.
Hang on a second. $50 from Dank Leak. Thank you so much for the super chat. I don't normally donate to streams, but I've enjoyed this one a lot. Everyone needs to stop the normalization of pedophilia. I gotta bounce now. Emperor protects. Thank you so much, Dank Leak. Dank Leak, you're a fucking legend, dude. Appreciate it. Sorry to interrupt the video, but when you super chat, you got to get some attention, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Bye, Danklink. It was great to have you in the chat.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
That it's horrible to be a woman in any culture, and that you kind of have to find your own way. That said, the movie is also clearly saying it is much...
How bad is it to be a woman right now?
Oh my God. There is no more privileged class in America and most of the world right now than women. This is, oh my God. It's so... Because here's the thing. You're telling all of these guys that, no, you don't need, like, you're the reaction you have to women's tears and to women crying and to little girls crying and to want to protect us, that's all part of the patriarchy. You can't do that anymore. But then these same people turn around and turn on the waterworks so that they can get their way. It's diabolical, and it's a manipulation of the entire system. And then to use the fact that you're a woman to barter and get into a position of power or influence, no, absolutely not. It is 100%. There are some places in the world, you are absolutely right, it is a terrible place to be a woman. It's also a terrible place to be a Christian or gay or anything that steps out of the structure of that country or that region. Absolutely 100%. There are certain religions that are being persecuted. There are certain genders that are being persecuted. This is all very true. But to say that every culture in the world, it is hard to be a woman, is another blanket statement. This is one of my three main problems with this guy. He takes generalized blanket statements and he uses them to justify his defense of this depravity because he has no actual moral compass or foundation whatsoever. It doesn't even need to be from a religious standpoint. You get into way too much of a philosophical debate about where morals come from. But one thing is very clear, this guy has none. And he doesn't know what he's talking about when he says that it's difficult to be a woman right now. That's insane.
So that was probably the best rant I've heard about that so far. Yeah, I just figured that, getting a woman's perspective on this would be good, seeing as how a lot of these leftists are, so obsessed with telling women how they should feel and what they should think. I think Angel Wren probably knows how that is, being, Angel Wren calls herself the token female. Angel Wren is the token female. But yeah, I think that's oftentimes pretty overlooked, and you have people speaking for you. So definitely appreciate your voice on that one. That's hope you guys are taking notes there.
All these women who are on these loudspeakers screaming about how oppressed they are, if any of what they were saying was true, they wouldn't be there screaming about it. Just food for thought on that. And I will also state this. I don't know if any other ladies can attest to this or not, but I will tell you this right now. From my past experience, the people who were the most horrible to me, who only ever cared about the fact that I was a woman or judged me based off that criteria or thought that I wasn't good enough or treated me just like crap, was other women. Because, and just to break this down Barney style and get to the root of it, it's jealousy, it's vanity, they see it as their territory, especially if you are in a male dominated profession. They're like, oh, I'm the woman, I'm the one that's playing with the big boys, I'm the one that's doing all of this is my territory. And for her to come in here and think that she's gonna just take over and that I'm gonna be a sidestep or I'm going to be a stepping stone for her after I blazed this trail for her, she can, get over herself. That's what a lot of women leaders that I have done to me. I've had really great female leaders and I've had really crappy ones who literally wanted me to fail because they saw me as competition for the attention. And I don't want the attention. I want to show up. I want to do my job. I want to do my job well. And I want to make sure that no matter what it is, if it's somebody who is in the office that is struggling, or if it's a customer that I need to help, or if it's someone in my chain of command, I want to make sure that I do everything I can to deliver on anything that I can. And so the fact that these other women and everybody's like, oh, other women should know how hard it is to be a woman. That isn't the problem. The problem is other women know that if shit hits the fan, excuse my language, if it does, that tears and waterworks and playing the female card can 9 times out of 10 get you out of it. And they don't want you to have that sort of sway because that is their ticket out of it. And if it gets overused, people catch on, and pretty soon it loses its power, and now they don't have the same influence that they had before. It's ridiculous.
So
it's childish.
It sounds like what you're saying is that you just want to be treated as, a person. Right? You're not just there because you're.
I don't want to be treated like a man, though. I don't like. Again, I've been in male. I was in the Marine Corps for 9 years. Trust me, you want to talk male dominated, that it's for every one female, it's like 164 males. And that's just in the air wing where it's higher. If you go to the ground side, it's worse. It's like one female to every 350 males. So it's insane. So for anyone to think that there's not enough attention to go around, or there's not enough of whatever it is, if you have any direct competition, that is a reflection on you as a person and your work ethic. If you see somebody and they're new and they come in and they're starting to outperform you and you take offense to it instead of seeing it as a challenge for yourself to do better, then that calls your morality, that calls your work ethic into question, not that other person's. But because everybody wants to jump down the throat of the new person and make them, put them in their place and let them know who the boss is, that's how they want to react. And it's absurd. One of the best leaders I ever had, she was a female, I was really struggling. I was like, man, I just want these people to like me because, I was 19. Like, of course, all you want is to be accepted and be liked. And she looked me dead in the face. And, like I said, I'm Catholic. She was like, Jesus was perfect and they hated him. And I was like, holy crap, that's true. Like, quick. I was like, I can't make everybody like me. If Jesus couldn't do it, I sure as heck can't do it. And so that was, like I said, she was one of the most down to earth, best leaders I've ever seen. And that's who I really learned from, that you don't win anything. Like, something that I say often, and I know that it sounds kind of cliche, but you don't make your own light brighter by putting someone else's candle out. You've just made the world a darker place, but your light force has stayed the same. So, but if you build each other up, if you work together, if you support one another, that person might surpass you. That's okay. Not everybody that comes with you can go with you. You might be a footnote in someone else's journey, and that's fine. We can't be all things to all people. I've heard that said a lot. That's true. You can be yourself to all people. Just be you. Just work as hard as you can, improve yourself the best ways that you can, learn from your mistakes, learn from others' mistakes, and build each other up. Because otherwise, we're not getting through this life in one piece. Nobody gets out of life alive to begin with, but that doesn't mean it needs to be a miserable experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is literally nothing I could say that's going to add to that or top that.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that rant.
Do not be sorry for that. That was fucking awesome. And I think you have a ton of supporters. I'm going to highlight some of these. I just got to read the super chat first. But yeah, I could not agree more. 100%. That is incredibly well, very well articulated, unlike what I just said. So thank you. Thank you for that. Eskimonofono again coming in with a super chat. Women can make an accusation and ruin a life. Yeah, we've seen that a lot. We've seen that whole Me Too thing and the whole cancel culture. 100%. Sonic, showing support here.
Oh.
Best rant, awesome job, delightfully geeky. Going with the oh my god, yes. I don't know what wash hands. Maybe waving hands in the air. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you can clarify. But
yeah, like when you wash your hands of something, like because it's done, you just wash your hands and walk away.
Got it. Yeah, 100%. So you're definitely getting a ton of support.
Thanks,
Lou
guys.
Agrees. Yes, women oppress other women more.
100%.
Yeah, that's you got geeky again. I lady simp for Grace. We got one super chat from Smooth Jam, California. What's up? Hey, Mando, I can't stay too long because I'm working at the moment, but I noticed you were live and wanted to wish you luck on your new show. You've been killing it lately, and I can't wait to see more. Here's to 5K. Thank you. Definitely on our way there. With your guys' help, we'll get there very, very quickly, and I appreciate it. And again, since Lady just had that awesome monologue, YouTube is in the link below, the description below, excuse me. Go give her a subscribe. It is well worth it. China's AIDS says, Miss Grave, become a motivational speaker.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're getting a ton of love here in the chat. Thank you for your service. Absolutely. Preach,
Thank
sister,
you,
Lord of the North. Yeah. And I keep getting messages right now, by the way. I'm getting messages on Twitter saying that that you need to be on this podcast more often, that this should be a normal thing. So we definitely, I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying this. And I'm glad that we could take this video here, this topic here, and turn it into something entertaining, even though I know we've gotten heated because it's kind of, not kind of, it is a disgusting subject to cover. At least we can make it entertaining and maybe a little bit informative for you guys. So definitely glad. One thing. Oh wow, this is a first super sticker. I don't know what the difference is. Yotam Darkstar or Yotam Darkstar. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I don't know the difference between the super sticker and the super chat. But thank you really much. Yeah, very much. If you want to type something in or something, I'll highlight that because I feel bad.
It should be a sticker of something like an ice cream cone, or so that amount is usually like a unicorn or an ice cream cone or a thumbs up, something of that nature.
Got
so
it.
Yeah, well, instead of it being a words or whatever, it's just like sort of like a teacher that gives you a sticker on your work or whatever. It's just a sticker.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sorry if I sound like I'm rushing. I'm trying to I want to get as much of this fit in before you have to go. Because what are you moderating for again?
I work for Nerdrotic, Gary Beekler over at Nerdrotic. So the live streams and different stuff, I work with him to just try and help create good content for you guys. That's basically what I do.
Yeah, so she fit this stream in thankfully before that. So I just want to make sure that I get through enough. I can finish some up when she leaves, but I want to get through a good amount of it. So that is why we're kind of moving briskly here. So we'll continue with the video.
Sorry about my rant that took forever.
No, don't be sorry. That's exactly why you're on here. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like I showed you everyone in the chat. There's people talking about it on Twitter. Like people resonate with what you got to say. And that's why I was really glad that I can get you on here. Because I think you offer some very, very unique takes on situations. So definitely appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it. Thanks. It's a privilege and an honor to be here. Your chat's awesome.
Not about honor. It's just a fucking pink Mandalorian grifter. But yeah, sure. All right, let's get on with the video here.
Much, much worse to be a Muslim woman than it is to not be anything else, basically. But the movie shows us that women are repressed in different ways in different societies. But I think kind of at the end, it's like, yeah, but it's just like go be like a normal French person. You don't have to be like a naked dancing 11-year-old girl. And one way that women are oppressed in basically every society is that there's no room for their sexuality. I mean, even just looking at the way people are talking about the wet ass pussy song, no matter what you do, if you're a woman and you are openly sexual, a large number of people are going to flip out and not exactly be able to articulate why. And I wonder if that's even part of the backlash to this movie. Now, I guess if it were young boys dancing provocatively, people would probably still be pretty upset. But maybe not as upset.
No, not probably, definitely.
But anyway, in the movie.
What was that?
He said if it was young boys dancing like this in the movie, I guess people would probably still be upset. There's no probably. Definitely.
Yeah, it does. The gender doesn't matter. In California, they were trying to pass this thing, or maybe they did already. I think they did actually, and
SB 145.
Yes, where it's going to lessen it for sodomy for same sex or something like that. Like why the fuck does that matter if it's the same sex?
Yep, because that's their excuse for everything. Like that's the thing. These people are evil. And I'm not saying that the LGBTQ community is not evil. They are being used by these evil people for a shield so that these evil people can get what they want, which is apparently the children.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's very important to point out is it's people who make the argument that this is gay bashing or that this is against the LGBT community. Like it's fucking not. The problem is not gay people. The problem are predators that are using that community, like you said, to get to kids.
Yep.
When I see people, just to give you a little insight on what my rant that I recorded last night, fucking 12 o'clock after I had a beer or two. It's about people calling, Gina, the actress from The Mandalorian, a transphobe and, trying to cancel her and get her fired. It's like because she wouldn't put pronouns in her bio. That's not being transphobic. Calling out pedophilia and child predators in the gay community isn't homophobic. You know, what's really, really messed up is for you to conflate the two and say that just because you're calling out pedophiles means you're calling out gay people. That's the problem, man. Like you're the one who's equating them. They're not the same thing.
Mm-mm.
So you can take that argument and shove it up your ass because it's complete bullshit, and it's a very pathetic way to try to smear somebody that you don't agree with.
Yep.
Does Grave have an Instagram? I don't know. You don't have a public Instagram, do you?
I do. It is Lady Grave. I don't. I think I have one, maybe two posts on there. I gotta get back. I am not up on the Insta. Like I know I'm young, so I'm actually. I fall into the millennial generation, but I am part of. I'm the Gen Y half, not the millennial half. We're both the same age range, but I am not at all. I don't like avocado toast. I hate man buns, and I really, really, really hate third and fourth wave feminism.
But if you hate those things, you must like those things.
Yes, apparently. But I don't. So I don't. And it's okay to not like things. Like, it's okay to not like when naked people walk down the street waving their junk around. It's okay to not like being screamed at and called horrible names. And it's okay to not want to see and to hate child pornography being shoved in your face, and you are being like, it's okay to hate that. It is 100% okay. In fact, it's normal. And the fact that that word is now becoming a trigger word should tell you everything you need to know about these people. They are desperate to justify their own depravity, and the only way they can do that is by pointing the finger and saying that everybody else is the depraved ones. It's not true. Like what you like, as long as it doesn't harm anyone else, infringe on anybody else's rights, or do what Cuties did to kids. You know, like what you like and hate and dislike what you dislike. Seriously, if you enjoy pasta, eat pasta. If you enjoy being a vegetarian, be a vegetarian. If you enjoy skydiving, go skydiving, for the love of God. I mean, do you. As long as you're not harming anybody else, it's nobody else's business. That should tell you how far right I am. That's a real conservative view, let me tell you.
The problem is that people will say, well, pedophilia is not hurting anybody. And then you get into that argument.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, 100% is. Yeah, 100%.
They don't have autonomy. They don't have minors can't consent. Period. Hard stop. All the way. I don't even care. Minors cannot.
Don't you know that hard stops trigger millennials?
Yeah.
Didn't you know that?
Yep. And hopefully it triggered all of those fuckers right the hell off. I don't even have another word.
First time I've heard you curse.
Yes, well,
very rare. It's very rare.
This is one of those instances. There is sometimes a well-placed strategic F word has more effect than any kind of artillery.
See, I wish I shared that. Mine's more like a napalm strike of fucks. Like it comes out. It's too much of my natural. Yeah, it's a part of my natural vocabulary. I got to expand it. I sound like a fucking retard half the time. But Swift Raptor LG, a simple truth there. You do you.
Exactly.
Delightfully Geeky says, yes, Mando. I don't know if that's the carpet bomb or what, but yeah. All right, let's get. We got a few more minutes of this. Let's see what we can get through.
It's interesting that she's not even allowed to have her midriff showing around her parents. She hides under a bed to hide from her mom when her shirt's tied up, and she can't untie it in time. And then, but at school, she is called a slut because she posts a picture of her vagina on Instagram, which. I had this like kind of defensive reaction as I was saying this, like whoever you are watching this, you're going to be like, well, of course she did. But like, why? I don't, posting a picture. I've posted pictures of my dick all over the place. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a slut. And if I did, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. I guess at 11, it has more of a negative connotation to it.
Yeah. You really think so? And I like how he conflates. If an adult wants to post nudes online, sure, go for it. You know what I mean? That's you do your own thing. If you're going to send it or whatever, if you're on a porn site, whatever. But to say that an adult doing it, an adult that understands the impact of something like that and how it's there forever, and what implications it has, is wildly different than if a child does it. A child who is craving for attention, who doesn't understand the kind of people that will take advantage of them. It's a completely different situation. So I don't understand how he can make this point or have these lines connect.
Because he has no morals and he's a depraved, sick individual. And can I just point out the fact that there are multiple pictures of this dude's private region floating around?
His biscuits.
Very uncomfortable.
That's where did that show up? Is that on Twitter too?
Yeah, he just said he's posted his dick multiple times. Like,
oh yeah. Dude, I thought there was something going on that I missed, and I'm like, why are we why are we sharing his nudes on Twitter?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why? Like, that's the thing. So, just like you were saying before, when you make sex a casual thing, this is the mentality that you follow. This is the logical final point that you reach, because sex is casual. So first it's sex isn't bad. So sex isn't bad. Okay, we can agree on that. And then it's then it's, well, sex should be fun. Maybe, I guess it's sort of a you do you sort of thing. And then it's, well, sex should just be casual. Anybody should be able to have sex whenever they want, however they want. Well, like, whoa, dude, that's sort of kind of a broad stroke. And like, before you know it, the train has left the station, and all of a sudden now you are on this weird ride of freaking, now, I'm going to walk down the street. I'm going to scream at Trump Tower, toplet, like naked, about how oppressed I am. And you need to be okay with the fact that I'm doing this. And I'm going to wear pussy hats on my head. And we're going to give cookies in the shape of vaginas to kindergartners. And like, this is where this has all gone way off the rails, because it went from a point that everybody could agree on that, sex is not bad. Okay. And then they just took that and freaking went insane with it, and have gone down this immoral crapshoot. I can't even say rabbit hole. Like, it's a crapshoot.
It's a giant crevice. It's a fucking meteorite hit the earth, and that's what they're going down.
100%. And it's just, that's where this guy is coming from the point of view that if adults can do it, kids should be able to do it, because you know what? Kids are going to be adults one day, and they're going to have to learn, and screw their innocence. They don't need it. It'll be fine. And now we've arrived at where we are, where, I don't know. Is it a bad thing that we're sexualizing these 11-year-old girls?
Yeah, that's the fact that we're questioning this is insane. And the people that would dismiss the slippery slope as a fallacy are fucking morons. They're so incredibly ignorant, whether they're willfully ignorant or they're being deceptive. It's one of the two. I think it's more of the latter. I think that they're being deceptive. I don't know. I keep questioning, how did we get here? How did we get to this point where you have this guy on YouTube talking about that you don't know if you should be conflicted about seeing 11-year-old girls twerk being a bad thing, if grappling with the thought that of minors, you finding minors attracted, if that's a bad thing.
Yep.
And for the people that would defend this and that would try to label you as a bigot or as just an alt-right fear monger, as I think the Telegraph said, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a
conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory. Conspiracy monger or whatever it was.
For them to say that, it shows where their priorities lie and where their biases are. I don't think that this is something that needs to be a political, a partisan issue.
Nope.
This is something that people, as human beings, should be able to find common ground.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all things,
and a majority,
I don't understand.
And that's the thing, and I'm gonna bring up. You'll see my logic here in a second. So the prequel trilogy came out, I remember leaving the theater and thinking, my God, that movie was awesome. Like, I'm so sad about Qui-Gon. I like this is great. Like, I love this. You know, I loved the original trilogy. I love episode 1. Jar Jar Binks, I thought was funny. I didn't think he was bad. And then all of a sudden, all of this press hit that, oh, the fans hate Jar Jar and episode 1 is a disaster and is Star Wars dead. And there's all this backlash. And you're like, what are you talking about? This isn't this, like, when I was in the theater and when I left the theater, these people were excited. They were energized. They were happy. Like, this was good stuff. When news of this crap first broke, it was, this is disgusting. This needs to go away. There's no excuse for it. There's no exception for it. There's no any kind of path that this can be given. People were united against this crap, and people still are united against this crap. But you look at what the mainstream media is peddling, just like they did with Star Wars Episode 1, just like they did with the Last Jedi, calling it the greatest Star Wars film ever made. Like, they're going to push the narrative because they don't want to lose their cushy jobs. They don't want to lose their access. They want a seat at the big boy table because all they ever get are crumbs. And so they think that if they continue to just shill and they continue to play by these people's sick, depraved rules, they'll eventually get a seat at the table. And it's not the case. And so when you see all of this mainstream media nonsense pushing these same agenda points, when you know it's not true, especially when you go over on freaking Reddit and the top like 4 things are Cuties is disgusting, Cuties is depraved, Netflix needs to be canceled. When Reddit is calling you out, yeah, that's when you know the mainstream media has definitely missed the mark on this 100%.
Yeah, when Reddit's not on your side, I mean, super left, you fucked up somewhere. Yep. I like Gonzalo's point here. Casual sex is kind of sad. Where's the love and the cuddles?
I agree.
This man knows what's up. Big spoon life, am I right?
I'm little. I like Little Spoon because I am perpetually cold, as you know, most girls are. I'm not sure why.
They run cold.
I don't know if other girls have this issue, but I've been told that it's true. My feet are often like icicles. So.
Wasn't it bad circulation? Isn't that something? I don't know. Maybe is that sexist for me to say that females have bad circulation?
That's what they say, but I'm not sure because, you know, when I was little, I always used to make the joke that I was hot-blooded because I was always just like, it'd be like -10 out and I would be in a sweater because I was just always so hot. And then I grew up and now I'm cold all the time.
Well, I thought that women run hotter because they have like ovaries and then.
Yeah. Maybe. What? I don't know. Well, that is a question for a biology book. I wouldn't go to a biology teacher right now because.
Well, they'll just tell you men and women are the same thing, or that men can have periods, men can have babies. Planned Parenthood was tweeting about like men who have abortions. It's like that's not a thing.
That's not a thing.
That doesn't happen.
That's a whole other crazy topic that we won't get off into, though. But yeah, but can I point out when you brought up period? Did you notice the only time in this entire review that he says he's uncomfortable or that it's weird or that he wasn't like he didn't really like it was when they brought up the period?
Yeah, I found that interesting. Where the one time it's not sexy, it's weird to him, like the actual biological aspect.
Yeah,
something that is, I think, that you could do, incorporate into a story about a girl becoming a woman. That is an awkward time. So, yeah, for him to be like, it was kind of weird. It's like, were they not shaking their ass enough? Was she wearing too many clothes?
It's like, oh, now we've crossed the line for you. Okay, dude.
Yeah, can't show the period.
Go back in the hole that you crawled out of so I can get 8 Romans to roll a rock over the top of it, and then I'll go get a blow and seal it to the ground.
We just nuke it.
Right? Napalm. Use your napalm. Go, man.
That was a 30-minute video that I did that is demonetized since YouTube wants to prop up, this fucking pedo film. But if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend checking it out. It's on my channel. And then Lady, she also did a video, excuse me. Oh my God, I've been talking so much I don't have water. Lady Gravemaster also did a video on Cuties. Go check it out on her YouTube channel. Link is in the description.
I did 2 videos on it. One when the poster dropped, and then one after this news broke, after the video broke. And then I have one in between there where it's about how boys aren't allowed to be boys anymore. That's
a really good one. That is a very interesting one. And I think that it's really important because, well, I won't get too much into it. Go watch the video. But I mean, it definitely talks about, boys losing male role models and just how they're not allowed to be men. Like they're children, but they're not allowed to have that male archetype. And it's a really important video. Like I'm telling you, what she's covering on her channel is important shit. Go check it out. Salty Soul says, "Hey, what is up?" Lou says, "Period is sexist."
Yes, it is.
Oh God. Okay, before we move on, we got one super chat here from Bess. Thank you so much for the super chat. This podcast is a banger already. You both are excellent, and I can't wait to hear more. I'm lucky to be here for this historical event. Godspeed, Mando. Thank you so much for that. I definitely appreciate it. I'm glad everyone's enjoying it. Yeah, it's actually, I'm glad that we did this. This is something that I thought about for a while. And again, this is just the one of many. And if we're lucky, Lady Gravemaster might grace us and join again. So
I will definitely
keep
try.
the support coming. We definitely appreciate it. All right, let's keep going here.
But it's still it's just interesting that like we're more okay with a 11-year-old girl doing drugs or stealing or hurting somebody than we are with her taking a picture of her vagina and posting it on the internet.
Sorry, but they're not comparable. They're not fucking comparable. And
nobody's
we're
okay with little girls stealing or taking drugs. Are you kidding me?
Who says that? Who's like, yeah, go ahead, go shoot up with heroin, but don't you dare post that nude picture online. Who is saying that? What, show me the person that makes that argument, and I'll show you an idiot.
Show me the receipts on that. Like there is exactly nobody is out there being like, oh, here's some cocaine, go have a good time. Oh, you wore a crop top. That is too far. Like no.
at Mando Grifter Longman Cuties video. Lou or somebody, one of the mods, can you go to Lady's channel and also link her channel in the chat and just that video too, please and thank you. But yeah, no one's making that argument. This guy, I don't know where he's getting this.
Which could lead to something harmful, but in and of itself is not really doing anything too bad to anybody. I guess it's embarrassing, but why?
What do you really think it's doing harm? Is it doing harm?
Yes, it is, because that is like this again. This comes from, oh, sex is casual. It's fine. It's not a big deal. This isn't true. There is a reason that you don't do lewd or sexual acts out in public, because there is a physiological basic change that occurs while you have sex. Their endorphins are released along with a ton of other different hormones, and your emotions are going crazy. And it's a lot for kids to take in, because it's a lot for them to take in when they're going through puberty. It's a lot for kids to take in, like that question of where do babies come from? That is a lot for a kid to take in. That's why you usually go about it in a delicate manner. That's why you discuss it in a way that is truthful, but at the same time doesn't depict you, their parents, as someone they look up to, as their archetype, as their moral compass, as their standard, as some sort of loose, immoral, casually sexually active individual, because you don't want to reinforce those habits. This is how depression and self-doubt and self-pity and all of these other just harmful mindsets, because like people, so you have two different kinds of depression. You have emotional depression, which happens when you get sad news, when something bad happens, like, but then normally people can bounce back from that. Your hormones regulate, you balance back out, and you go back to being at that medium of, you're not happy, you're not sad, you're melancholy, for lack of a better term. You're evened out. When you are manic depressive, or you are when you are in a state of depression, you can't bounce back. You can't do that. And drugs, alcohol, sex, all of those things, casual sex specifically, all of those things have been linked to causing depression to become worse, to going further down the addictive trail, to the self-worthlessness trail, all of those things. And so you become in a state of depression. It's the same thing with any other type of state that you exist in, except for the fact that depression can kill you. And when you do these things, because that boy at school teased her, called her a whore, told her that she was disgusting, because these are things you're supposed to cherish yourself, because there might not be another person in the world that cherishes you. You're supposed to cherish yourself. You're supposed to want what is best for you, but not at the cost of anybody else, especially not at the cost of your own self worth or your mental health. And children are too young to grasp that and understand that, and they don't understand just how important they are and how delicate their mental health can be. And when you are shoving them out into a hypersexualized world in this manner, and it does cause harm, because they, like he said, these are 11-year-old girls. They don't know what they're doing in this field. They don't really understand or comprehend what they're doing. Because it's true, 11-year-old girls, 11-year-old boys, they don't understand. They don't grasp. They have a basic knowledge of, oh, boys boys have a penis and girls have a vagina, and like, oh, this is kind of what happens now as I grow up. I'm gonna wear jewelry, or I like pretty things, or I like trucks, or I like mud, or I like whatever it may be. That's stuff that you grow into on your own. You have to decide for yourself. And so to say that this does no harm to anyone is a gross mischaracterization of everything, because now this little girl is never going to be able to get that back. She's never going to be able to take that away. It's always going to be lingering out there, and that is how she's going to be known. That's how she's going to be recognized, as the girl who put her vagina up on the screen for attention. And there's a reason that lewd sexual extreme acts, they grab your attention, they disgust you, but then people move on. It is very seldom that acts of violence or acts of unless it is true. People remember Hitler because he's evil. People remember Hitler and the Holocaust because of the depravity and the evil that occurred there. People also remember, whether you believe in him or not, remember Jesus because of all the miracles he did, of all the good that he brought, of everything he was trying to preach. You've got Mother Teresa, who has indirectly and directly affected millions of people from the good works that she did. And she grew, and this was a woman who admitted to having many sins in her past. She never claimed to be perfect. All of these people, so you have the very good ones. Martin Luther King Jr., you remember him not for the fact that he was a serial cheater. You remember him for the fact that he marched for freedom, and that he did it peacefully, and that he was a male archetype that any male would want to look up to be, and any woman would be proud to stand next to and say, I knew him, or that he is amazing, or this is a person that we all need to try to emulate and be like, regardless if you're male or female. That is what this gets down to. And so for him to strip that away and make this strictly all about casual sex so he can feel better about himself is exactly the reason why we are where we are, and people just turn their heads when it comes to sexual exploitation. They don't want to look at it, because if they keep it out of sight, they keep it out of mind.
100%. I keep saying 100%. It should be like 110%. I think something that you point out that's very interesting is I'm gonna need to get water. Sorry, I'm dying.
No, you're good.
Is the loss of innocence with children, and that's what this does. He talks about a point in this where he asks himself, would I let my daughter be in something like this? Or how do parents let their daughters be in something like this, or their children be in something like this? And that's the problem. You can't, because once they do something like this, like they're losing innocence, because you're not being a parent. You're not putting your foot down and explaining that this is something that's going to stick with you forever, and it will subtly influence you subconsciously for the rest of your life, because it's something that you're used to. It's something that you think is normal. And the worst part is that when they get into Hollywood, or when they keep doing these films, they're asked to do increasingly more, depraved things. It's kind of hard, to top being an 11-year-old and being made to twerk in front of groups of people, for months on end while shooting. Mm-hmm. But it sets a dangerous precedent. And an argument that I made in my video is, this movie really creates a problem, or highlights a problem, that if you get these girls to buy into this whole, oh, I'm going to post things on social media because that's what gets me likes, that's what gets me followers, then what you're doing is getting them primed for somebody to possibly abduct them. It's getting them into the grooming. Yep. They're getting groomed. So they start posting pictures, somebody reaches out to them, and they're like, hey, let's meet up. And then they're gone. They get kidnapped. They think they made a friend online, and then that's it. That's what happens. So that's what really, I feel like I'm losing my train of thought with it, but that's what pisses me off about it, because they don't understand the actual dangers that something like this presents, and introducing children to this presents.
Absolutely. And it goes back to, humans are social creatures. Just like I said, the female leaders that I had, some of the female bosses I had, some, not all, of course, it was about the attention. They felt threatened. They wanted the attention for themselves. They crave that attention. And, if you teach that at such a young age, like it's, I forget what study it was, but it was proof that when you get a like or a comment on a post or a video or whatever, it's like a hit of dopamine. Like every time you see that, like every time you get one, it's like another little hit. It's another
you want more.
Exactly. And so it's an addiction. So all of this boils down to addictive personality types, and the fact that you are what he's suggesting, like what he's saying is he's okay with letting children become addicted to the exploitation of their bodies. That's what he's saying. All for the sake of likes. And it's disgusting because, whether you're grown or not, I mean, everybody enjoys a little attention now and then. Everybody enjoys being highlighted or shouted out or getting that extra little push or that little oomph or whatever it may be. But you can't live your life around that, because if you spend your life seeking that kind of high, it's no different than a heroin addict or a gambling addict or an alcoholic. You will forever be trapped in that perpetual cycle of seeking approval, of seeking acceptance, of looking for attention. And when what you used to do isn't good enough, just like you said, you'll up the ante to get that same rush, to get that same drive.
It plays into that depression thing that you talked about.
Yep. Exactly.
Because if you're seeing the likes go down, I mean, shit, I think, I experienced that. I think everybody who creates content experiences that. Like, I was talking to you about it last night, where I was actually talking to my brother about it, where I put in a full day's work into that Cuties video in terms of writing and then editing and just everything. And then I get to see it get demonetized and not getting the views. I'm like, well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really puts you down. So it's like, what else can I do? And then now imagine that with children who are very young and impressionable, and they're like, oh, I don't have friends, or I don't have enough friends online. What are they willing to do for that? And then this is showing them what's okay to do with that, or what's okay to do for it. I'm going to address this sticker really quick, from Gage, not Greg. Thank you so much, man. If you want to, I don't know why it doesn't show up on here. It's really annoying, but thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. One thing I do want to address really quick before we finish up with the video is somebody here, Bim, says, do you guys believe that there needs to be a way to foolproof protect kids on the internet from things they shouldn't see apart from parental control? And for me, I think that falls on the parents and how you teach your kids and what you're instilling in them. Like, I know for me, I was petrified of doing anything wrong, not because my parents would like beat the shit out of me or anything, but it was like, Catholic guilt was a big thing. And that still sticks with me. Again, I'm not really religious, but Catholic guilt for sure sticks with me about doing something wrong. And like, I just feel like a piece of shit. So I don't ever want to do that. I mean, not saying I'm perfect, but you get that feeling where I'm doing something wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. There's a voice in the back of your head. And that's thanks to my parents and how I was taught and the people that I was raised around. So exactly. I don't necessarily think that there needs to, like, it's the internet's job to protect your kids, but the parents need to take that. That's the thing. The family and the guardians, the parents, they're the ones. That's their responsibility to keep their kids away from stuff like Cuties, from people like MrGirl here. That's their job.
Well, and here's the other. So what I would say is that I don't think, first of all, as a parent, you figure out there is no foolproof way to protect your kids. They're going to fall. They're going to get hurt. They're going to see something that you can't make them unsee. They're going to hear something that you can't make them unhear. What you have to do as a parent is be mature enough and be ready to have that discussion with them, like I said, in a delicate manner to make them understand, but also to not rob them of their innocence. Not just be like, oh, well, I guess we're going to have this talk now at 6 years old because you asked me where babies come from. It's not stuff like that. You don't. raising children is not just the big talk moments. It's not the, oh, this is the birds and the bees. It's not the don't do drugs and drinking. It's like Mando said, it's how you raise them daily. Parenting is a 24/7 job. And for the, like he said, the people who have turned the television into babysitters for their kids, to the location of, or to their cornerstone for morality, that is when you run into the problem, because you may have an idea of how you want to raise your children, and you and your spouse might have this idea how you want them to be raised, but you need to go out and find entities that reflect those values, because those entities aren't necessarily going to come to you. They will make themselves known, but they can't go to each individual person, because they're not going to be what every individual person needs. You have to go find what matters. And the thing is, stuff like Netflix, stuff like Amazon, Hulu, like they've got Netflix Kids. You can't market yourself as a family friendly or a family involved app or business when what you're doing is antithetical to that. So Netflix needs to cut the crap on the whole family time stuff that they were pandering not too long ago. They need to be honest about who they are, because if this is stuff that they're going to put on their platform, then kids don't need to be anywhere near it, to be perfectly honest. That is where Netflix is headed. It doesn't matter that there's a Netflix, unless it's a completely separate app and a completely separate login, not where you go to the same home screen and you have to click on Netflix Kids or on Profile One. It has to be something completely separate, because this has now crossed into the realm where it is not family friendly, it is not child appropriate, it's not okay. And so that is where I would say legislation has played its role. And I don't want the government to step in and start.
Well, they're terrible at everything.
No. You give the government any modicum of power, and they're gonna steamroll you with it.
Yeah, that's the argument that I make. You want the people running the fucking DMV to be raising your kids? I don't think so.
So I don't want the people in Hollywood raising my kids. I don't want the people running the DMV to raise my kids. I don't want the people running the VA to raise my kids. Also,
if you work at the DMV, I'm not saying anything about you, but just what I'm saying is it's inefficient. It's inefficiently run.
The structure that you have to work within is not conducive to real human life.
Yes.
But it's all of these things. And so for people to think that being a parent is simply, feed them, clothe them, send them to school, and give them whatever it is they want, that's not what being a parent is. You have to be there 24/7. You have to be willing to take the hard knocks. You have to say no, and you have to stand in conviction on that no. You can't waver on that, because kids will figure out what works. Kids are pretty smart, and when they figure out a manipulation or a tactic that works, of course they're gonna use it, because they want to get what they want. They want that candy bar, or they want that toy, or they want that TV show, or whatever it may be. And that all starts young. Habit forming starts at age, like, I think it's like 10 months in, habits are already starting to form. And
10 months?
Yeah, 10 months old. That's because that's when, some kids start walking. They start jibber jabbering. They've watched the parents or their older siblings or relatives. They've seen what they're doing. They're mimicking that. So they're picking up habit patterns of their own. And so for some it starts at young, for some it starts a little bit later, but it's between 10 months to about 15 months is when patterns start to form, when certain things start to become second nature to them. And then they start walking, and they start talking, and they start doing all of these things. So you can't just check out and be like, okay, they're fed, they're clothed, and now I'm just going to plop them in front of the TV so I can get a break. Because, it is exhausting being a parent, but if you engage with your kids, they engage back. And just like where you can build other people up in your professional life or other adults in your personal life, you're literally building these children from the ground up. But they can also help you see the world how you used to see it, through the lens of innocence, and how beautiful it is when a rainbow is shining while there's no clouds and the sun's out, and you're like, oh, like that's the water particle. But then they're like, look how beautiful it is. Or you know, one of my kids pointed out how great it smelled after my husband cut the grass. Like, it's all of those little things that they appreciate and that they point out and they get genuinely excited about. They get excited about going to the store. They get excited about playing board games. They get excited about spending time with you. And so it gives you sort of that rejuvenation of life of what it used to be innocent. And you want to protect that as a parent.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The loss of innocence is the big problem. And I think that you're making me realize how bitter I've become being older.
I'm sorry. That wasn't my intent.
You know, when you see a rainbow, I'm just like, ah, fucking rainbow, whatever. That's cool. Kids are all amazed by it. Oh, God. Yeah. Anyone else feel the same way? Does anyone else, or am I just the old codger, I guess? Fucking rainbows. Oh God. All right. Logan just reminded me. Sorry, I forgot that you're on a freaking time limit.
It's okay. I've delayed it just a little bit, but I can give you about 11 more minutes, and then I really do have to bounce.
Let's see if we can rocket through this.
And it just shows you the repression and what it must be like to be aware that you're turning into a forbidden, dirty, disgusting, hated, awful creature as you're a girl going through puberty, and there's nobody there to make room for that. There are people to take advantage of it, or there's people to shame you and be disgusted by it. But through the whole movie, there's no mentor. The best she gets at the end is from her mother, basically just saying like, I'll just stay out of it. And you know, I won't kick you out of our house. That's the best you're going to get. So if I had one criticism about this movie, it would be that it should have been a documentary. I think you can find girls who are dancing like this, and even in competitions probably, or something close to it. And I think it would have been less exploitative and more powerful to show. And I mean, obviously it'd be a lot more work to try to gain access to families like this. But if you can show that conflict and show this transformation, you could say most of the things this movie says, I think almost better, and in a way that would actually be more ethical if it were real, which is usually probably not the case with movies. And I think it would have been more powerful because it's like, you know, anything I got from it, a lot of it is things I already think. So it kind of helped me ruminate on beliefs I already have.
I don't know what beliefs those are. Is that the children thing? The finding them attractive thing?
Yeah, not
Making him realize that that's what he feels like?
This point right here is where I get really ticked off, because he went through this whole thing saying that it's no big deal, that it's just fine. Like, why would this be viewed as this? And they're turning into these disgusting creatures. Like, how must that feel? And then for him to go on and say, you know, this would be more ethically appropriate if it were a documentary and it was a real life type deal. It would be more ethically appropriate. Like,
yeah, he's missing
literally
the point.
just admitted. He literally just admitted that this movie is crap.
Well, his whole thing is that he's saying it's would be more ethical, and it's like, well, then do you not see a problem with finding them attractive? Like, I don't know if he sees that distinction. I'm really not sure.
Self-awareness negative 1 million.
Love some clarification. when he statted up his character, he didn't put any into his self-awareness. Can somebody confirm this for me? Yodam, please tell me if I'm saying your name wrong. Yodam Darkstar says it seems that Netflix folds on Cuties and they pulled it. Did they? Can somebody confirm that for me? Felix O says, anything. Well, hello, Mando. Nice to catch you live. Thank you for joining us, Felix. I appreciate it. Yeah, sorry, what were you saying, LG?
Oh, nobody has like let me know that. I'll go look that up here in a little bit, because that's huge if they did. I'm still not going back to Netflix, but I mean, it's huge. It's a huge win if they did. But like I told you earlier, right before we started, it was trending number 4 in the US, which I think was a bunch of shenanigans. There's no way that it was actually number 4. Similarly,
well, the background to this is that we were talking last night, and we were discussing that Netflix lost $9 billion in one day from this. Well, to be fair, it's like it's a pretty I would say it's a pretty obvious correlation because Cuties came out, they dropped 9 billion.
Yep.
You know, they talk about this on the kill stream with him, and he asks if the rest of the stock market, Jesus Christ, stock market dropped. And I don't know the answer to that.
No,
But for
it didn't.
Netflix to lose okay, they didn't. So for Netflix to lose $9 billion from Cuties is pretty substantial, to say the least. So they kind of got what's coming to them. Lou said that Singapore, Saudi Arabia, New Zealand, Vietnam, and Germany called Netflix to ban the film. Well, maybe you're in one of the countries there that have it banned. But
it didn't even air in Turkey because they knew what it was. They knew it was child exploitation.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame any of these countries for for trying to protect kids. Jesus Christ. Updated 91% on what the hell? 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. What's the audience score?
God, I hope it's -1.
Hold on a second. Let me check this really quick. Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes. I was saying I need to delete after that video. I had clips from this review. I have, you know, like the poster. I'm like, I got to get this shit off my hard drive. I'm gonna end up on a list. We're all on a list from watching this.
That's what I was saying. Like, that's what I was saying. If you walked in, if the FBI like went into some dude's home and found this crap on his hard drive, or some woman's home and found this crap on her hard drive, they'd be in jail. They'd be in jail. And
yeah, immediately.
Exactly. And that's the other thing that doesn't get talked about enough. The fact that women predators get away with it is really disgusting.
Yeah, there's a guy that I actually really like, and I'm pretty. Let me. I think it's Birdman. I'm pretty sure it's Birdman on YouTube, but he does a video, and it's obviously funny. But to your point of female predators, it's is this a crime or not? About like, you know, it's like, yeah, the answer is obviously yes. You know what I mean? But we're at a point where people can make joke videos about that. But if they were to do that with a man, immediately, like everyone would lose their shit, rightfully. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But
and female predators,
it's a joke. It's a joke.
Female predators are way, way worse because it's they go off of stereotypes. They're like, well, you know, these boys wanted it. They wanted it. And so I just gave it to them so that they wouldn't go. So it's the same excuse for this crap. So that they wouldn't go somewhere else that was more dangerous. I gave it to them. No, you're the predator. You're the sick one. You deserve to rot under the jail. Like, it's not okay. The fact that you're a woman doesn't make it okay that you sexually assaulted and abused these young boys. And more often than not, they go on for years, and tons of them are teachers or in some sort of like in a leadership or a more maternal type of position. Like teachers, I mean, there's plenty of really great male teachers out there, but teachers generally, when you hear teacher, you think of like, you know, a female teacher who is more nurturing towards the kids. And, you know, that's not the case everywhere, but you'll definitely notice that there's more women in the teaching profession. And so for these women to have access to these kids, it's just as bad as any dude who's working at, like, I don't know, a park as a maintenance guy. That seems to be a pretty overdone trope when it comes to creepy dudes that like kids.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
janitor.
no different. Yeah, exactly. The janitor, like, it's no different. The crimes are exactly the same. They're exploiting children. They're sexually abusing these kids, and they deserve to rot for it.
100%, regardless of your gender. If you're a fucking pedophile, you're a fucking pedophile, and fuck you, scum. One thing I wanted to point out, to answer your question, Salty, really quick. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that. Hell yeah, I'm playing Cyberpunk on this channel. The privacy screen on his computer back here. Like, what is going on with this, dude? Like, the windows here, I'm thinking somebody's looking into the monitor, and he's just like, I got to put this shit on for this Cuties review.
Ugh.
It's ridiculous.
That makes, like, what else is he watching?
He's watching what's that, Toddlers and Tiaras or something, whatever that was. That's what he's watching. We got 2 minutes on this video, and then we can wrap it up and just do a little outro here. So do you have time?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Right, cool.
You know, if you're probably more conservative and you go through life thinking, no, girls are not sexual, girls are cute, and then when they turn 18, then they become sexy or whatever. I don't know how, whatever bullshit you tell yourself. I could see how I'm empathizing with you.
Do you fucking hear that? Hold on a second. Did you just did you hear that?
Yep.
Chat
or whatever. I don't know how, whatever bullshit you tell. You know, if you're probably more conservative and you go through life thinking, no, girls are not sexual. Girls are cute. And then when they turn 18, then they become sexy or whatever. I don't know how, whatever bullshit you tell yourself. I could see how I'm empathizing with you.
He's empathizing with us. He's empathizing with the sane people, the ones who don't look at 14-year-olds and say, oh, I really want to have sex with that 14-year-old. He can empathize with us. He doesn't feel that way. He empathizes.
God, this is what's wrong with the world.
This fucking guy, I really when I actually try to make a critique and I try to be a little more level-headed, like that's not what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is saying I have a fucking moral problem with what this guy's saying. 100%. It's there is no gray area with this. There is, like Vito said in that Twitter thread that I highlighted in my video, there's no nuance when it comes to children twerking for a feature-length film that's on Netflix. There's no nuance. It's not there.
That's gratuitous. That's not nuance. Nuance would have been, a dancing competition being up on a screen in a TV store on the street that she sees, or like I said, the billboards or something of that nature. It wouldn't be this crap. This is gratuitous.
Exactly. It is not. It's not subtle. It's not even subtle with it. It's not. Nope. It's not an underlying themes of the movie. It is in your face. No pun intended. It's blatant degeneracy. I just want to say bye to Mimic You. Mimic You, thank you. You're a real one. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, we're almost there. Chat, we're almost there.
I can see how you would view this as just like, no, why are you making kids sexy? That's weird. This is just your sick fantasy. This isn't real. And
he's in my head. He's in my head, guys. He's saying exactly what I'm thinking. Oh, it's just your sick fantasy. 100%, it's your sick fantasy.
It is your sick fantasy.
If it is real, it shouldn't be. Kids shouldn't be doing this, and you're part of it. Whereas if it were a documentary, it might be more powerful in illuminating something that's already happening without the film itself being accused of creating it or encouraging it. So I probably would have rather seen that, but it's a good movie. Pushes boundaries, made me uncomfortable, which is not that hard to do, but appreciated when it's done in an intelligent and interesting way.
That's not this.
That's pretty much it. It's nice to see a kindred spirit out there poking the bear, asking tough questions, and making people feel sexually weird. And I'm excited to see what she comes up with next. And thanks for watching my video.
What do you think she's going to come out with next? What could this woman possibly do next?
Hopefully nothing, or at least a documentary from her 6x6 cell. Ugh.
Yeah, it's going to be the Netflix special, how the director of Cuties got arrested. Again, for legal reasons, not saying she committed a crime.
God, I just... everything... Nope. Just, I empathize with you if you're thinking this. Like, dude, what the hell? So, like, the normal people who are disgusted by this depravity, you empathize with them, but you don't think that way? Like, what is wrong with you? And a kindred spirit out there? That was all
okay. Yeah, like, what is this guy talking about? Oh, Christ. I can't. I can't do it. We made it. We made it 24 minutes and 3 seconds. We finished it. This is it. That was it, everyone. Did everyone enjoy his review? Was it enlightening for everybody?
Yes. Does anyone feel enlightened by him?
Are you woke? Are you sufficiently woke now? I'm going to take that as a yes. Everyone's woke.
Yep, everybody's woke.
Oh my God. Well, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we have. We didn't plan for the stream to go this long. We actually planned for it to be like half of this length, if that. But thanks to all of you, and obviously thanks to our wonderful guest we have here. We made this stream pretty fucking awesome. This podcast, I'm really excited about, and your support means seriously everything. And if you can stick through this, if you can stick it through this video, I think future episodes are going to go even better, especially if Lady Gravemaster has some time to come back and join the podcast again. Before you leave, LG, do you want to share any some wrap-up thoughts?
Sure. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. It's a huge honor to be on your very first episode. I don't think we can make this a weekly thing. I definitely have tons going on. So sadly, guys, I don't think that's going to be a possibility, though you're all amazing. And thank you so much for the love and support earlier. You guys are incredible. Mando, it's been truly a privilege and an honor. I really am so thankful that you asked me to be a part of this. And I hope that sort of maybe reinvigorated some hope for humanity, that we don't all think like this guy and that we want him to go to jail at the very least and burn in hell at, I think is where most people are on the level with this dude. But maybe that's just me. But no, I really appreciate you guys. For any of you that subbed or followed me, I know some of you said you did. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. I sort of fell bass backwards into all of this. And so I'm doing the best that I can, and hopefully it pays off for you guys. I really, really do appreciate it. And I need to go rinse my soul out now.
Gotta take some time and reset for the next podcast, which is Nerdrotics podcast, right?
Yes.
If you want to see more of Lady Gravemaster, you're on that podcast too. You don't just mod for them, right?
Sometimes I do drop in. It sort of depends. We go with the flow. So when Gary does his nooners and his weekly live streams, I'm generally not a part of those. That is him doing what he does best. Gary's amazing. If you guys don't follow Nerdrotic, I highly recommend you do. He's a great guy. He's got some powerful insights. He's really, really well versed in pop culture. Rumor is he used to own a comic shop. But that is an inside joke. If you go over there, it'll make sense. But yeah, it's just been a real honor and privilege to be able to help him in any way that I can, so that he can provide more content and a great content for you guys. So that's really what it's all about. But on Friday Night Tights, which usually starts around 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, sometimes I will make an appearance, but that is more, it just sort of depends where the conversation goes. So
if you want to reliably see Lady Gravemaster, I've had some mods thankfully link her channel. Again, the links to her YouTube channel and Twitter are in the description below. If you haven't already, follow her on Twitter and check out her YouTube channel and subscribe. Ethan says, how do I clean my soul after this? Go subscribe to Lady Gravemaster. That'll help. And keep an eye out for a video that I have coming out possibly later today. Maybe tomorrow, depending on how much editing I can really get done. But yeah, again, thank you, Lady Gravemaster, for stopping by. And thank all of you for stopping by here. I'm fucking pumped to do more of these podcast episodes now, but that's all I got for today. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your days or your evenings, afternoons, whatever time it is around the world. Mm-hmm. And yeah, until next time, folks, we'll see you in the next video.
Thank you all. Have a great one.